For now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Deviyo Sajjano Mitro, welcome back. We go ahead to the most important chapter in your syllabus of direct tax, inter as well as final, ladies and gentlemen. In CA Inter, you expect a question on this for 15 marks. So earlier it used to be 14 marks, but due to change in paper pattern of 50-50, in 50 marks, 15 is MCQ. So in the remaining 35, the adjustment was not working of 14, 14, 14. So they have made this question of 15 marks. And in CA final, it also comes again for 14 marks. Together, 29 plus. You can have some MCQ adjustment also on this chapter. As a round figure, you can take 30 out of 150 marks of direct tax that you are learning at inter and final together. This chapter, of course, base will happen at inter, advanced level will be taught at final. 30 marks, which makes it 20% of your total marking in your exam, is this chapter, profits and gains of business or profession. And this is explaining the relevance of the chapter. I don't have to tell you now how important. Hey, 30 only, no, two less. Then 30 out of total 150. Very, very important chapter. The most important chapter. In PGBP, yes, we will be learning the sections. In PGBP, yes, we will be learning the sections and their logic, because we have always focused on why, along with what is the law. Yes, we will be doing that. However, ladies and gentlemen, in PGBP, there is one more thing that you have to be careful about, and that is how to solve a question. There is a trick to solve the question. If you follow that trick, the time consumption may be slightly on the higher side, but the accuracy will be 100%. Once we achieve that accuracy of 100%, with the number of questions that I have given you, if you practice, you can reduce the time consumed also. So starting May, you will take more time than others. But by the end, your time consumption will reduce, but others will not be able to match your accuracy level. It is requested that you follow that method which I will give you. And it is an open challenge, guarantee, promise, whatever you want or however you want it. You can get full marks in this question at inter and final. If I leave scope for 1-2 marks for extremely silly mistake or calculation error, still in this 15 mark question, easily you can score 12 to 13 marks. At final also you can score easily about 12-13 marks out of 14 marks. If you avoid silly mistakes, calculation errors, otherwise full marks also possible. Promise, guarantee or challenge, provided you follow the set of instructions. In thousands of students who have scored exemptions in their same classes, in that same batch, there were other students who have not cleared. Not because I taught something different, but because there are some students who follow instructions, some don't. In this chapter, more than the logic, that method is important. And only my students across the country understand that method, because I spend more time on that method than the chapter also. Which is why I take more time than other people in PGBP. But the time that we consume is justified with the weightage that it carries. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, third head of income in income tax law, charging section 28. What is the role of charging section? Hey! After a long time. Do you have PGBP? Then pay tax is the role of charging section. Charging section says what? If you have PGBP, pay tax. If you have PGBP, pay tax. That is given in the charging section. For salary it is 15, for house property it is 22, for PGBP it is 28. Section 28 says, third head of income, profits and gains of business or profession. Profits and gains of business or profession. Globally, the two main ways of making money in your active work life. We are not talking about retirement life, like living on rental income or dividend income, pension income. We are talking about active working life. One is when you work for others. One is when others work for you. When you work for others, we had the last chapter, that is income from salary. The house property we completed first. And when others work for you, we'll have profits and gains of business or profession. Business, in simple terms, is basically sale of goods, So whenever you are doing a regular activity of sale of goods, we say that you are in business. Bolo yes or no? Now here is something which we cannot make a list of. If I ask you, in this world, how many businesses are possible? There is no answer to that question. Infinite. Everything that you are using right now, whether it is your watch, your clothes, your book, your calculator, your textbook, your notebook, your pen, your watch bola na? Your specs I said, no, your, what do you call it, sweater or sweatshirt or sweater, sweater. You make sure that you hide your sweater in your bag, and on that you keep your book so that no one sees that you are taking sweater with you. People will throw stones at you. You know the weather outside the classroom. So please make sure that you secretly bring the weather. Or do one thing, leave the sweater here only before you go home. Because at home I'm sure you don't need it. So that bag also in which you keep the sweater. The projector that we have in the classroom, the ACs that we have, the laptop, you are buying. Someone has sold. You need to have the brain, the ability to sell. There are people who are selling water. Water is freely available. It's a natural resource. But there are people who have the brain of selling that. And about 12 years ago, in a CA final class while teaching PGBP, I had said this, and it has happened actually. Students of those days, when they see this product in the market, some of them do contact me, sir. You are right. I had told them that today you see people selling water in bottles. There will be a time where people will sell air in bottles. Buy one dose of oxygen. There are people who are actually selling fresh air. Are you not aware of that? Yes, there are. You need to have the ability to sell. You can sell ice to someone in the Himalayas. If you have brains, you can sell ice to someone in the Himalayas. We can't make a list. Whether you buy a hairpin or whether you buy an aeroplane, hairpin to aeroplane, somebody is selling it. That is business. And while doing that business, that person will be making profits. Those profits are going to be taxable. If we talk about profession, it is called sale of services. So if we sell some tangible goods, it will be business. If we sell intangible services, whether it is a doctor, engineer, lawyer. I never asked this. No, anyone has lawyer at home? Lawyer at home? Who? कौन लॉयर है? फूफी? अच्छा, बुआ. हाँ. Father's sister. Lawyer. Sorry, liar. Sale of services. Hello. Doctor, lawyer, engineer, architect, professor, coaching class, D2H, Tata Sky. They are not selling goods. They are selling services. In salary, I told you the story about someone who came late. He's still late even today. Remember, own driver, employer-employee relationship. But that taxi driver, he was not employee, so it was not salary. He is selling you services. You can make profit by selling goods or services. Income tax law considers them as same. Both of them will come here. Whether you make profit by sale of goods or service, the profit that you earn is going to be taxable. So whenever you are in the regular activity of sale of goods or service, you will be making profits, pay tax on that profit. So ladies and gentlemen, salary, only one condition. Employer-employee relationship. House property, three conditions. Building, owner, not doing business. PGBP, a regular activity of sale of goods and service, then that income is going to be chargeable to tax. Here is what the charging section is going to decide what we are learning now. Charging section says that the net profits, please pay attention, because this charging section is going to lay down the roadmap of what we have to learn. In every chapter we are doing that. In house property we said we have to learn annual value. Give it the format, we said format over chapter over. In salary we said allowances and perquisites. This over, then chapter over. In PGBP also we are going to do that. Learn that in the charging section. That what are we going to learn in the next few days. And I believe in doing that. Always lay down what I am going to. What is coming up, you should always be aware. For example, long ago we thought that yes, syllabus is over. But we know that income tax calculation is going on. So income is going on right now. We are done with exempt income. We are done with two heads of income. What is this chapter? This chapter says, the charging section says, net profits. So whenever you are doing business, sale of goods or service, will you be making profits? The net profits of a business or profession, the net profit of a business or profession will be chargeable to tax. That's the role of charging section. No. What is the charging section required to do? Hey! Pay tax. If you have bought income from employer-employee relationship, salary. Income from building owner not doing business, house property. Net profit of a business, that means sale of goods or a profession, sale of service. You can do any one of them. Income tax does not distinguish. Both of them will come here. The net profit of a business or profession will be chargeable to tax. Net profit, net profit. That means, listen, one thing we are clear of, not today, but many times I have told you in the past as well. Income tax is not levied on gross basis. Indirect taxes are levied on gross basis. Now you have studied little bit indirect tax, so you know. The consumer is consuming goods or service worth the sales amount. So consumer has to pay the indirect tax, the GST on that value. But the seller is not earning the sales amount. In order to earn your sales, you will have to incur a lot of expenses. Whether they are your trading account expenses or your profit and loss account expenses. 1 minute. What time it is? You can be having your trading account expenses or your profit and loss account expenses. In order to run a business, will there be expense? Yes. All those expenses will be deducted. And the net profit will be taxed. In order to earn any income, whenever you incur any expense, it is the basic principle of income tax law to levy tax on net basis, never on the gross amount, always on the net amount. Net profit will be taxable. So, supposingly, I do sales of 15 lakh. If you check my bank statement, the inflow is 15 lakh. But to get that inflow, I must have done some purchase of 8 lakh, some other expenses of 2 lakh. So the total expense is 10. I cannot earn 15 lakh sales if I don't incur the 10 lakh by expense. And therefore, I will pay tax only on the net profit of 5 lakh. Net profit is your taxable income. Net profit, net profit, net profit. The charging section is making it very, 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 very clear to you. You have to pay tax when you do activity of sale of goods or service. That is business or profession. But what amount you have to pay tax? You don't have to pay tax on your sales. You don't have to pay tax on your gross profit. You have to pay tax on your net profit. Now the question is, how many of you all are learning accounts from class 11? Or let me change the question, because almost all of you. My question is, anybody who was a non-accounting background student, like a science student, and then starting my studied science, then later moved to commerce. Science student moved to commerce after class 11. Huh. I never told you this. I was a science student. There is a story behind that also, but let's not get into that. Yes, I did move from science to commerce. So first time I studied accounts was directly for my class 12 board exams. And bro, I still remember first time I made a ledger account like this. Everyone makes like this one. Full marks? How? क्या बोला बे? Examiner? Acha? No bro, I had no idea of how accounting works. I studied debit the receiver, credit the giver in 12th standard. because class 11 full year I studied physics, chemistry, maths, electronics. I had no idea how accounting works. Because in my board exam I did have accounts ka paper. So I took some classes of 12th boards and a recap of 11th accounts. Quick recap of 11th accounts. But I still got 82 marks in accounts ka paper. You know why? Because we had a chapter called bills of exchange where you had to only copy the format. We had a chapter called joint venture. Only 3 accounts used to be there. Joint venture account, cash or bank account, and one more. I don't remember also. And we had final accounts of partnership first time in 12th standard. 11th May it used to be final accounts of proprietor. I never studied that. I directly studied final accounts of partnership. Somehow I still managed. And we used to have some objective questions also, match the following and fill in the blanks and managed. Yeah. No one had any idea that I have passed class 12 with good marks, but I have no idea what is debit, what is credit. Thankfully, with the grace of God, still I decided to do CA. That's a comedy in itself. And when I decided to do CA, you, of course, once you are done with 12th class, you directly go to your foundation, CPT, PE1, whatever is the course. And most coaching classes, my teacher, when you come to foundation, they don't teach you basics. They will directly teach you the advanced level of accounting as applicable for your syllabus. But thankfully, being blessed with teachers who decided to assume, we had teachers who, when they used to come to the classroom, and I have incorporated that style, who used to come to their classroom, and assume that audience is filled with idiots. They are in CA foundation, but they don't know debit credit. There used to be quite a few bright students who had detailed knowledge of accounting. But teachers used to assume that everyone is an idiot. So that job was open the brain, put it inside, close it back, and lock that brain. And that did work because thereafter accounts became my strongest subject. In CA Inter, out of all the subjects, PCC it used to be in our time, high accounts was highest 79 marks. With someone who just 1.5 year, 2 years before that had no idea I used to make ledger accounts like this. So few features of my teachers assume that the audience is filled with idiots, and by the end you realize that this is not something that you are assuming. Reality cannot be assumed. Second, never assume that students know this thing or that thing. Or even if you don't want to do a particular thing, just confirm if there is someone who does not know it. You never know, there will always be someone who does not know a thing or two. And third, these days, no, teachers of the current generation, I look the youngest and the most handsome amongst all your teachers, but I think only a couple of teachers are senior to me. Otherwise, in terms of age and experience. Otherwise, almost all your other teachers are my juniors. Maybe one or two have been my students also. Except two teachers, I think everyone else is junior to me. I know still I look the youngest of all. I belong to that generation where if you don't study on one day and go next day, your tuition teacher will have all 5 fingers ka print on your face. These days, teachers have converted into, alle, alle, babu, study no, please. Okay. Teachers are going and taking exit interviews out of exam halls. Like news reporters. Bro. Hello, friends. So today we are going to learn profits and gain. I feel like speaking words which I cannot actually speak in a classroom. Culture has changed. Too much of pampering, too much of pampering. But I don't belong to that generation of student or teachers. So do not expect too much of pampering also. When it is required, then action will be taken against you. If I have never taken any action, if I have always been good to you, that's only because you are very good. The day you are not good, the day you don't take the work seriously, you'll see the wrong side of mine, which none of us want. So be the way you are. Matter of less than a month. Now we will get done because thankfully, touch wood, no. Nazar is real, bro. I'll not say anything. Just when I say, if by chance I say that now, thankfully we are not having any cancellation. You never know. No, no, no. No. Audit start ho raha hai? You have audit today after me. First lecture. Who is taking? Thu, 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 thu. Ladies and gentlemen, I studied accounts first time in 12th. You are claiming that you have studied accounts first time since class 11. You spent so many years of your life doing this. Then tell me, have you heard this term before? Net profit. Do you know where this figure net profit is visible? From where we can get this figure of net profit? From where? Profit and loss account. Correct? Eh? Profit and loss account is the place where we are going to get our net profit. Correct? Eh? Have you made profit and loss account in your life before? It looks like this. Hmm. On the credit side, you will have your income, say sales. We are doing everything in lakhs. So sales 25 lakhs. For that, there will be some expenses. Sales को डेबिट करूं? हाँ? A tight slap I will give you. And trading, bro, listen. Once you go in the advanced levels of accounting and when you learn Indias, you'll realize there is nothing called trading account. There are two parts of the profit and loss account. There is normal profit and loss account recorded in this, and below that, there are some abnormal activities that you do, which are not a part of your day-to-day business activity. But once in a while, you do some abnormal transaction. We record them separately, and that account is called other comprehensive income, which I believe you may not have ever heard also because it's a part of format of accounts in India. So your trading account is going to go away very soon. It's a matter of time. Profit and loss account, sales, credited. In order to earn the sales, you will be incurring some expenses like COGS. COGS is what? Opening stock plus purchase minus closing. So you minus closing here or you write it on this side. It is one and the same. Say the cost of goods sold 10 lakh rupees, which means as per what you have been taught, your gross profit is 15 lakh. But we are as merging because in any case, if I write the gross profit here again, 15 will cancel only. No, we are picking the figure of net profit. So apart from this, you also have some other expenses. Sir, what kind of expenses? You will have some overhead expense, admin overheads, manufacturing overheads, selling and distribution overheads. Say you have some 5 lakh overhead expenses. You have acquired some assets for the purpose of your business, for which you have depreciation of 2 lakh. I said you can say that overhead includes depreciation, but I am taking it separately. So cash expenses 15 and non-cash expense in the form of depreciation is 2 lakh, which is resultingly giving you the balancing figure of rupees 8 lakh, is it? So is your P&L account reflecting a net profit of 8 lakh? Now come and observe the charging section. Charging section says what, sir? Pay tax on net profit, net profit. Go check the bank statement. If you check bank statement, this is what you have received. But we don't pay tax on the gross receipt. In order to receive this, we have also paid this. So we will pay tax on the net profit, net profit, net profit, net profit, net profit. And the net profit as per this ledger account is. So, 1. The charging section says pay tax on net profit. 2. We make a P&L account where we are getting net profit of 8 lakh. Which means if I implement this chapter and my accounting knowledge ka mixture, do I have to pay tax on PGBP income of 8 lakh rupees? That means what is profits and gains of business or profession? The net profit that you are making by selling goods or services. Fantastic. So that means we have understood. We don't have to pay tax on sales or gross profit. We have to pay tax on net profit. But this is actually resulting in a question. And the answer to that question is this step. The question is, sir, time please. 1 second. I want to ask and confirm. Verify one more time. Do I have to pay tax on net profit? Yes. This net profit ka figure, where will I get from? Profit and loss account. Sir, so I have a question for you. Sir, this profit and loss account we are making since class 11. Sir, you studied accounts first time in class 12. In Mumbai, we call them first year junior college, second year junior college because we have 5 years college. Rest of India, I hope you are aware, till 12th they have school only. So, instead of calling them junior college, first year, second year and confusing people, let's talk about them as class 11, class 12. I learned in 12th, you all learned in 11th. So, from 11th standard, you know how to make profit and loss account. From 11th standard, you know how to do this. You have been deriving this Sum after sum, question after question, problem after problem, final accounts. Sir, that means I know how to derive net profit in any organization. I have to make P&L account. And the last thing, on the left side, balancing figure on the debit side is my net profit. And as per charging section, that is taxable income. The reaction is, sir, I already know this. Sir, I know what is net profit. I know how to calculate net profit. I know how to make profit and loss account. Then what are you going to teach us in such a big chapter? And what are we going to get marks for debit credit? 15 marks at inter and 14 marks at final are allocated to what? You understand? Because if net profit is what we have to do, we already know how to do it. Correct? Sir, this explanation will teach you the difference between an accountant and a chartered accountant. This profit and loss account will be made by an accountant. What is the role of an auditor? What is an audit? Now that your syllabus is starting, what a coincidence. First thing any teacher does now, whenever you learn a new subject. For example, I also did that. What is tax? What is law? What is cost? What is financial management? You know? So you will be asked, what is audit? Say this. Find mistakes in others. What is audit? दूसरे का गलती निकालने का. We say find mistakes in others is audit. Audit is basically done to find mistakes. We as auditors will be given a profit and loss account which will be made by the accountant. Accountant is foolish. Accountant is foolish. Accountant does not know proper entries. Accountant will do anything over it. When I make my profit and loss account for the full year to find out my PGBP, I write those incomes which are a part of my PGBP and I write only those expenses which are a part of my PGBP. The net profit that you see in my profit and loss account automatically becomes my PGBP. I credit and debit those things which are correct as per tax because I have some knowledge of taxation. I may not be as intelligent as you people, but I have some knowledge. But the accountant does not know that in tax what you are allowed to write here and there. Accountant is crazy. He knows only one thing. If you don't know anything, write it in profit and loss account. The profit and loss account has been used as a dumping ground by people. When you don't know anything, write in P&L account. So the accountant did not stop you. He kept on writing. There is some agriculture income. You have to record that income in accounts. He wrote 10 lakh. For that, there will be agriculture expense also. He wrote that 2 lakh. Then this assessee has earned some salary income, some house property income, some interest, dividend income from other sources. 6 lakh. Accountant has written that also. Is that possible? Accountant has written everything. Whatever he saw in the form of income or expense, he was taught debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. He has written everything. Initially, we were getting this figure of profit. Now, is this figure going to change? Yes. And this is very, very important figure in PGBP chapter because this is your taxable income. Read the charging section. Pay tax on net profit, net profit, net profit, net profit. So, this figure was earlier 8 lakh, but now is it changing? How much is it coming to, by the way, after doing the things that we have done right now? 22 lakh rupees. Okay, don't write it. 22 lakh. I have to pay tax on. Answer what we have done. Charging section 28 says pay tax on net profit. Net profit we get where? Profit and loss account. As per the current profit and loss account made by the current accountant, the P&L account is showing a profit of 22, which means I have to pay tax on 22. Supposingly, this amount is 0. Right now it is coming to 22. No? Then this amount is 0. Then I don't have to pay tax. So accountant is making P&L account with a set target in mind. Like how we make balance sheet. I'll tell you how I make balance sheet. If I have to make balance sheet, I first write the liabilities total because there are less adjustments only, capital account, reserves and surplus. Then I write this total here. Then internally I adjust whatever. You all do it that way only. You all know, no, balance sheet should tally whether artificially or naturally. Same school of thought. So first write this, then copy this, then do your internal adjustment. Bro, I am doing the same. Matlab people make balance sheet like ledger accounts. People make balance sheet like ledger accounts. First take the total on both sides, then do the balancing figure. But this is a ledger account. And my target is, first I will write this. Because if this is 0, then taxable income is 0. What is taxable income in words? Net profit. So make that 0 first. Now there is a gap that I have to fill. What is that gap? 22. Correct? So fantastic. I just have to remove this. Debit belongs to me, credit belongs to me, accounts belong to me. I can do whatever I want. Write anything. Write gift to father. 7 lakh rupees. Write gift to mother. 7 lakh rupees. Write gift to wife. 7 rupees. Sorry. If we write 7 rupees, it won't become 0. So our target is to make this 0. To make this 0, how much I have to write? So that is only for presentation purposes. For those of you all who don't have experience, let me tell you, you don't have to give this to your wife. You have to give this to your wife. Whatever you earn, you have to quietly take that and surrender at the feet of. You have to give this. Now the question is, with whatever the accountant has done, this amount finally has become 0, and as per charging section, pay tax on net profit, which is 0. If the freedom is given to taxpayers and their accountants, they all will make all P&L account in the world 0. But the question is that ordinarily, do we write such things in the profit and loss account? No. These are personal drawings. You should write them as drawings, debit the capital account. But we are writing at P&L, in the P&L, with the target of making this 0. Do these expenses have anything to do with your income, business? No. If I don't give gift to father, I can still do business. If I don't give gift to mother, I can still do business. If I don't give gift to wife, I may or may not get to stay in my house, but I can still do business. So it has got nothing to do with your business. But you still debit it. Why? To make the profit 0. And if profit is 0, come back to the charging section. Taxable income 0. So, how to eliminate PGBP income from all computations in the world? Just keep on debiting anything. Keep on debiting. Keep on debiting. Roti, kapda, makan, chaddi, banyan. Keep on debiting. And finally, make it. Oh, bro, sorry. Too much of debit, bro. Sorry. So, sorry. What was the last thing I said before we had a... debit whatever you want, no. Make this 0. Do you understand? Accountant will do that. Now the chartered accountant will come and audit this P&L account. What is an auditor's role? What is an audit? Find mistakes. There are 4 types of mistakes that you have made here. Anything that you have written here, is that increasing your profit? But are these things a part of my business activity? Agriculture income is fully exempt. And the other incomes are taxable but not a part of business. I can't take them in PGBP. I have to remove them from here and put them in their respective head. And as far as agriculture is concerned, I have to remove that from here and put it nowhere because it is exempt. But whether I put it somewhere or don't put it anywhere, at least from here, I will have to remove my exempt income as well as my other heads. That means I have written something that I should not write. What should I do to these amounts? I will have to subtract these amounts. because they are unnecessarily increasing my profit. So can I say there is one mistake that I have made on the credit side? One more mistake on the credit side. My sales was not 25 lakh, it was 30 lakh. There is one bill of 5 lakh which I have missed. If I forget writing or recording a sales entry, what happens to my profit? It will reduce. How will I rectify that mistake? By increasing it. That means one mistake, I have written something that I should not write. Second mistake, I have not written something that I should write. And the same two mistakes will happen on the expense side also, on the debit side also. I have written certain things that I should not write. These things are not my business expenses. But by debiting them, what have I done to my profit figure? Reduced. So how to rectify this mistake? By adding it. That means I have written something that I should not write. And if I talk about the last mistake here, in COGS also, there was one purchase which I have forgotten. Unrecorded purchase. Like we have unrecorded sale here. Supposingly my purchase was 2 lakh rupees, one bill that I have not recorded. When I forget a purchase bill, that means I have not recorded my expense. What happens to my profit? It will increase. How to rectify that mistake? By it has increased, no? So how to rectify the mistake? By reducing, minusing. There are totally 4 types of mistakes that every profit and loss account in the world will have. 1. Things that you have written but you should not write. 2. Things that you have not written but you should write. On both sides, so 2 into 2, 4 mistakes. 2 mistakes you will rectify by adding, and 2 mistakes you will rectify by minusing, subtracting. When you rectify all these mistakes, you will get your profit and loss account, which is correct. Ladies and gentlemen, charging section says pay tax on net profit. But the net profit which is made by the accountant is an incorrect net profit because it contains 4 types of mistakes. And what is the role of the auditor here? What is the difference between you, chartered accountant, and that accountant? Pick up that wrong net profit figure. Then search for the mistakes. 4 types of mistakes. Add 2 less 2. Add 1 income side, 1 expense side. Check 2. Add 1 income side, 1 expense side, and less 1 income side, 1 expense side. Make these 4 adjustments and we get the correct PGBP which we, the chartered accountant, has made. Most accountants do not have knowledge of taxation laws. They write any nonsense in the P&L account. And I'll tell you what, if the accountant is writing nonsense in the P&L account, it's good news. Because if he is writing nonsense, this amount will be wrong. Then you have to start with this amount on your calculator. Rectify the mistakes. When you rectify the mistakes, add or less, add or less, add or less. That means you are making correct amount, rectifying the mistakes. For rectifying the mistakes and bringing the correct amount, today you will get marks. Every correct add or less, it will carry 1 or 2 marks based on difficulty level. What is the breakup of 15 marks? Pick up the wrong net profit. Make the correction. For example, you have to remove these amounts. No? Minus 10, minus 6, because 10 is exempt and 6 is other heads. So every time you're doing it correctly, you'll get 1 mark. Some difficult adjustment, they carry 2 marks also. Add less, and in future, when the accountant actually makes a real life profit and loss account, you'll do the same add less because same accountant will make mistake. Then you'll get money. Today the marks, future may the money. If accountant becomes very smart and he does all correct debits and credits here, that means this profit will become correct. For example, I told you, I make my P&L account as per tax. So my P&L account profit is my PGBP. No one can audit that. What will you do? There is no mistake. So if there is no mistake that you find, no one will pay you. Auditors get paid only to the extent of the mistakes that they find. So if the accountant has not made the accounts properly, be happy, because to make it proper, you will get your marks and money. Every accountant will give you a ready-made profit and loss account, and thus every question of PGBP will give you a ready-made profit and loss account. You don't have to make this. This is made by accountant and given in the question. You have to Rectify this, and for that you are going to get your marks. PGBP ka chapter is not making the net profit. PGBP ka chapter is a net profit is made. You correct it because the given net profit is wrong. The given net profit is incorrect. You rectify it. Did you understand? So start with that wrong net profit amount. In your mind, you know that it is wrong net profit amount. But on the answer paper, see, one general human knowledge के लिए भी I'll tell you something. You don't speak everything that you think too deep. Huh? You don't speak everything that you think. Because if we start speaking everything that we think, we'll lose everyone around us. Because there is something that we want to say to everyone around us, which we somehow have not. Huh? So everything that you are thinking, you won't be writing. You know that this is wrong profit. But on the answer paper, in the answer paper, you won't be calling it wrong profit. In the answer paper, you will be calling it the net profit as per profit and loss account. The net profit as per profit and loss account is going to be your starting point, the base of starting your question on PGBP. Net profit as per profit and loss account. The mind is calling it what? Wrong profit. The paper will call it net profit as per profit and loss account. Everyone is with me? Now we know that this wrong profit contains errors. Two on income side, two on expense side. How to rectify the income adjustments? One, we add, one we less. And the expense side also one add, one less. Anything that you have, focus again, anything that you have written here, but you should not be writing, you will have to rectify by minusing. And anything that you have not written here, you will have to rectify by adding. That means, can I say the income corrections are one add, one less? Likewise, on the expense side, these things that you should not have debited, you have to rectify by adding. And this thing that you have to debit, you have to rectify by minusing. That means, I repeat. Now see if you understand. Totally, there will be four adjustments. To income side, to expense side. Income side, one add, one less. Expense side, one add, one less. That means we will be having two adjustments on the add side. And once we do that, we'll later also have two adjustments on the less side. Add side, one adjustment will be from income, one adjustment will be from expense. And less side also, one adjustment will be from income, one adjustment will be from expense. Do you understand? This is my add side and this is my less side. So please understand, 2 into 2, 4 mistakes. We start with wrong profit, but on paper we call it net profit as per profit and loss account. Then we have to make the corrections. The four things that we are doing are nothing but corrections. PGBP is not about making net profit. PGBP ka chapter in CA is about correcting net profit. Accountant will make this account. This chapter is a reflection of what accountant does and what a CA does. Accountant will make this account and we will rectify that account. That means charging section says pay tax on net profit. We don't have to make that net profit. Question will start with a net profit. Any question will start by giving you a profit and loss account. Let me see if I can show you some past RTP or something. If I have handy, I'll show it to you. A first hand interaction with a PGBP question, full-fledged PGBP question. Ta-da! Let me see if I have something for you. If I have, I'll definitely show it to you. I do have something for you. ये क्या है? Bak, to hell with you. I'll search for someone else. मतलब one last attempt. I told you in the past as well. Maximum you should give someone effort square. Bak, hut, hut, hut. RTP I will not show. I'll do one thing. I'll show you a question from my CA final book. किधर है भाई? Hello. PGBP question. This you can't say it is restricted for editing because actually these days ICAI is putting protected PDFs on its website, and ICAI thinks that we don't know how to crack it. Hmm. Hmm. You will be having a question like this. P&L account is given. Profit ka figure is given to you. Hello. This net profit is taxable income. But problem is that all these amounts and all these amounts have their effect in this. Now, if we are talking about a doctor Ram is giving you the profit and loss account. So the fee receipt, are they a part of his PGBP? Yes. So no problem. But the rent received or the dividend received, are they a part of PGBP? No, but both of them have come in your income. So you will have to remove them. How will you remove them? By subtracting. Do you understand? Similarly, sometimes on the debit side, you will have in this question, we don't have, but sometimes on the debit side, you will have, say, two son's school fees, yeah, children's school fees. Like we have in our example, we have no gift to family. Is this expense a PGBP expense? But by debiting this expense here, what have you done? Reduce your profit. So how to rectify? So do you realize that accountant will give you a P&L account? Question will give you P&L account. You have to do the role of chartered accountant. Pick up the mind says wrong profit. Paper says net profit as per P&L. Make the rectification by making one add side. Add side will have two adjustments. One income, one expense. Then make the less side. Less side will have two adjustments. One income, one expense. That means income side one add one less, expense side one add one less. Effectively, after doing all this, we will get our mind will say correct profit, but on paper we can call it PGBP. Start with net profit as per profit and loss account. Make the corrections. How many corrections? 4. 2 on the add side and 2 on the less side. Add side one income and one expense. Less side also one income, one expense. So income में one add one less, expense one add one less, and effectively we will get our PGBP. Let us see how to make this presentation. How to do our add and less. Let's pick up the income side first. If there is any income that you have credited, sorry, any income that you have, or let me take the expense side for that is easier for me. There is any expense that you have debited. I will be able to show it to you in my profit and loss account. Whenever you debit anything in your profit and loss account, what happens to your profit figure? It reduces. So I have debited this expense. So it has done what? Reduced my profit. But this expense is disallowed expense in PGBP. This is not an expense that I have incurred for my business. And the classic example, if you want example, sir, what can be an example of this? Check karo, the gift to family that you have given. What has that gift to family done to your profit figure? Reduced. But is that a business expense? No. So how to rectify? By adding. You understand? So we have picked up our wrong profit and now we are making the corrections. Add side. One expense part we have done. One income part we will do. You understood what we are doing? Likewise, we will make one less side, one income, one expense. If we make 4 adjustments, our PGBP question is over. If we make 4 adjustments, our PGBP question is over. So, add side, what is the expense adjustment? Anything that you debit. reduces profit. But we are not adding all the debits. See, today we are not adding COGS. We are not adding overhead costs. We are adding only those debits which are not allowed in PGBP, disallowed. Correct? Try karo. Try karo. Let it be the wrong answer, but try the income ka adjustment here. Try. No. You will have to use the format that I have given for expense. Similar format. Income which is not credited. Okay, this is correct, but this is still incomplete. Incomplete. But one understand. When we say an income which is not credited, that means I have not written it in my accounts. When you don't write an income in accounts, the profit figure reduces, and therefore we are rectifying by adding. So income which is not credited, correct, but it is incomplete. Anything else you want to add to it? Try karo. It's okay if it is wrong. But taxable, because if it was exempt income, so we still don't have to add. No, we will be adding only taxable. Correct? Still incomplete. Allowed. Okay, let me get this thing very clear. Very clear. You can't be using the words allowed, disallowed in reference to incomes. Because when we take deduction, we will say, am I allowed or am I not? So the allowed, disallowed terminology has to be used in context of expenses. For incomes, we will use the term taxable or not taxable. If we have to pay tax, it is taxable. If we don't have to pay tax, it is not taxable. There are some students who use the word allowed, disallowed for incomes, which is incorrect terminology. If you start speaking incorrect terminology, in your subconscious mind, that term will get saved and later you will make mistakes. Incomes ke saath, you can't be using the term allowed, disallowed. What will you use? Taxable. Words are those students who, for expenses, this is, so this expense will be taxable. No, bro, you are learning income tax act, not expense tax act. You can't be using taxable word for expense. For expense, what word we will use? Allowed and disallowed. And for income, what we will use? Taxable and not taxable. For this, I will not give you a second chance. There is no, sir. Once in a while, so it is okay, bro. I don't give second chance for coming late to class. Also, I have given how many chances? They are beyond my standards. This I will not give you a second chance, not at all. You have to use the correct terms. For income, we will say taxable, not taxable. For expense, we will say. Now I'll tell you the worst case. Worst are those students that when they are speaking about the accounting treatment. See, this is taxation treatment. Allowed, disallowed for expense, taxable, not taxable for incomes. Tax treatment. There is some accounting treatment also. I asked that student, sir. An income, there are two options. An income in accounts can be credited or credited or not credited. Sir, this income will be debited, no? Arey bro, stop buying stuff from Pratik. Income cannot be debited. If you are using the word debited for income or credited for expense, you are gone, bro. Because I won't do anything to you. I will only pass on the message where it has to be passed. That these students are saying that expense will be credited, income will be debited. I will just pass this information. And once the information reaches where it has to, hollow bamboo, pokal bamboo. And what will he do with the bamboo? Hit you. What else? So I ordinarily tell students that if you make this mistake, मैं band बजाऊंगा. But at some places I say मैं band बजवाऊंगा. I'll just pass on the information. I will not, and you yourself should not tolerate. How can you say income is debited and expense is credited? So in accounts, for incomes we will say credited or not credited. For expense we will say debited or not debited. And in tax, for income we will say taxable or not taxable, allowed, disallowed are incorrect words. And for expenses, we will say allowed or disallowed. Okay. So first, see expense ka. I have used the word debited and disallowed. If I have debited, but it is not a part of PGBP, so it has to be disallowed. Like gift to family. Example also I have given. So I am adding it. Now let's talk about the income part. There is an income which I have not credited. So now for for the expense part, I can show you. See this. But then there is this income which I have not recorded only, so I can't show in profit and loss account. Not credited. Not credited, but I have to pay tax on it. So I will have to introduce it by adding. But this is still incomplete. One last part and this will get completed. Income which is credited is already recorded, that we don't have to add. So this is not credited. That's right. Just saying not credited is not enough, because there will be exempt income also that we don't have to write. In fact, if we write, we will have to less it, like agriculture. So yes, it has to be taxable, but just saying taxable is also not enough. One last thing has to be added. Try karo. Okay, let me give you a hint. I have sold my property during the year. That is income. I have not written in the profit and loss account. Not written. So not credited and taxable. If I stop this sentence here, I will have to add profit on sale of my asset, which is wrong, no? Because profit on sale of asset can't come here. Only which income can come here? So saying taxable is not enough. It has to be taxable under section 28. It has to be taxable under section 28. So supposingly I have not credited salary, I will not add it. In fact, if I have added, I will minus it. These things, if I don't credit, I will not do anything. If I credit, I will have to minus, because they are not a part of business. They have to go to their respective heads. You understood? So expenses which are debited and disallowed have to be added, and incomes which are not credited and taxable have to be added. Can I say this will give us our add side? This is also the presentation. Net profit will directly be written in the outer column. Individual adjustments will be written in the inner column. Their total is going in the outer column. Now outer column has two amounts. Make it one amount. You simply have to add these two, because it is add side ka total. Now we will also have a less side. By the way, if you want example here, can I say unrecorded sales? Less. Two adjustments. One income, one expense. That much is so clear. Income side, one add, one less. So now we are doing the less side. Now you have the add side in front of you. Put a little effort. It is okay if you are wrong, but without putting effort, you will never come to know whether you are right or wrong. Try. Expense nahi. Pehle first, this time first income, because last time we did expense first, no? This time income side. Income. Any income which is credited. Fantastic. Wait please. If I write an income in the P&L account, that will increase my profit. So I can minus only those incomes. Correct? But I don't have to minus anything. Everything. Because if I say income credited, you subtract. So like that, I'll subtract sales also. Do I have to subtract sales? No. So saying that I will minus all the incomes which are credited is wrong. You have to continue. But wait, not taxable. Absolutely correct. But still incomplete, because if I write only this much and leave, that means I am minusing only exempt income. This will get subtracted. Is this credited? And a not taxable income, exempt. Yes, it will get subtracted. But this, is this credited? And it is taxable income. But still I have to subtract, because it is not taxable under business. So I will have to complete this by saying not taxable under section 28. Not taxable under section 28. Do you understand this? Income which is credited but not taxable under section 28. This will cover your exempt income also, and this will cover your other heads income also. Understood? We have to remove both. See, in your final answer of NTTI, the difference is exempt income we are subtracting from here and not adding anywhere else. Other heads of income we are subtracting here and adding in the respective head. But as far as the PGBP adjustment is concerned, they are same. In PGBP, they are same. You understand? We have to subtract both of them from here. Which? To exempt income as well as other heads. ये clear है? Come on. When you have come all the way here, you should be able to do this. One thing everyone understands, this is expense related. Okay, fantastic. Expense. Not debited. So I can't show it in the profit and loss account actually. Not debited. When you don't debit something, what happens to your profit figure? It increases, and therefore we are rectifying by reducing. Correct? We are only adding or lessing up. We are not doing debit credit. Let's be clear. Never say that, sir, I will debit this, I will credit. No, this is already ready for you. Now you have to do plus or minus. PGBP question will bring marks for you for plus, minus, plus, minus, plus. Get this clear in your head. If there is any amount given in the question, from your mouth you have to say add less. Sometimes it can be no effect also. For example, COGS 10 lakh or sales 25 lakh. Are they correctly recorded? They are part of PGBP. So we don't have to do anything to them. We have to rectify mistakes, but certain things will be correct also. So the three options are add, less or no effect. If you start speaking one of them from your mouth correctly, add, less, no effect, add, less, no effect. Every adjustment can have only one of the three options. Add, less, no effect, add, less, no effect. If what you have done is correct, you will get your marks. Otherwise, you will lose your marks. Do you understand? So expense is not debited. Correct. But incomplete. But here is when some students say, sir, but taxable in PV. How can expense be taxable? So for expense, we will use the words allowed, disallowed. For incomes, we will use the word taxable, not taxable. As far as the accounting part is concerned, can you see expense can be debited or not debited? And incomes can be credited or not credited. Yes. So, but allowed. Correct hai? Everyone? And what are the example or what is the example that I can give you for this? Just like we have unrecorded sales, we can always have something called unrecorded purchases. When we are writing these amounts in the inner column, we will not put a bracket because we are not minusing them. Right now, we will add all of them. Take their total and this total will be subtracted. So in the entire presentation, only one amount should come in bracket. You should not be putting every amount on the left side in bracket because right now you are minusing, you are taking their total. There are some people who do this to every amount. This looks very, very poor presentation. In fact, there are some people who for saving time do it like this. In any case, are you minusing them right now? No, you are adding. Take the total. And the total you minus. That means everything is getting subtracted, no? So full presentation, only one amount will come in bracket. That is left side total. This, ladies and gentlemen, your mind knows is the correct profit. But on paper, we will call it PGBP. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is your pro forma format of calculation of PGBP. Every head of income has a format of calculation. Let's talk in order now. First, salary, because we studied house property. Salary, basic, DMS allowance minus exemption perquisite ka value, gross salary deductions and net salary. In house property, we had GAV, municipal tax, NAV, standard deduction, interest deduction. Every chapter has its presentation. This is PGBP ka presentation for you. Start with, mind calls it wrong profit, but paper nowhere write it. Paper pe we will call it net profit as per profit and loss account. Then 4 adjustments to income to expense. Income 1 add 1 less, expense 1 add 1 less. If your accounting treatment is not in accordance with tax, then you do. See, this accounting treatment like COGS and sales. What I have done in accounts is same as tax. No, This is taxable and credited. No need to give any effect. And this is allowed and debited. So no need to give any effect. I am going to give effect only to the mistakes by add or less. To add, to less. One income, one expense, one income, one expense. And resulting amount will be my PGBP. What is PGBP chapter? Pick up the P&L and check whether every amount is correct or wrong. Correct amount, no effect. Correct amount, no effect. Correct amount, no effect. Wrong amount, then either add or less. And that much common sense also you should have. Anything is there on the debit side. So less can't be the answer because it is already minus. It is effectively add or no effect. And anything here will be less or no effect. But okay, you give yourself all the three options. Add, less, no effect. So these things we will have to add. Every correct adjustment that you're doing will bring marks. Every mistake will make you lose marks. PGBP question is not about I'll get sir full 15 or 0. It is marks allocated to every individual adjustment. Good students make a mistake if when they don't know 2-3 adjustments. They get scared. They don't attempt the question. They go ahead not realizing they don't know only 2-3. They know 10 adjustments. Some 3-4 years ago, I had a student called Asifa from Kerala. Asifa, AKA, Asifa PK was in Kerala. They don't use surname. Most people in Kerala use father's name only as surname. That's the culture. If I'm wrong, if I'm not wrong, correct? No, most people don't use surname. They use father's name as surname. So we had no idea we are from Mumbai. In my school, there was a classmate, Jobin Jacob, Malayali, from Kerala. So we used to think that his surname is Jacob. We used to call him Jacob. And landline ka era it was. So one day one of us called his home for some work. Hello Jacob. His father is like, yeah bro, bol. अरे वो कल स्कूल में he's like, what school? बोला Jacob, no, हाँ Jacob. Whom do you want to talk to? अरे Jobin Jacob. तो say Jobin, no. Then we realize they don't use surnames. Point क्या था वैसे? What was the point I was trying to make? नहीं रे बाबा, छोड़, forget it, cut. Listen, accountant has made the profit and loss account. Let's start from there. I went back to my school days. Asifa, sorry, my bad. Asifa. Thank you for reminding. Asifa, she didn't have MCQs. So her PGBP question was, I think, 16 marks. When final mein MCQs were not there. So PGBP used to come for 16 marks. It was first question of 20 marks and 5 questions of 16 marks. 16 into 5, 80 plus 20. After MCQs, 30 marks are gone in MCQs. So remaining is 70. So 70 marks are divided into 14 into 5. So every question is 14 marks, same as PGBP. When she saw the question, it was a difficult paper. And I still have her, when she got 81 marks in tax, people don't get in the 80s. 80s mein it is not possible. People get 80 marks only if they give 2 attempts and total the 2 attempts come up. Some people ka 3 attempts ka total is 80 marks. But she got 81 in one attempt. That also at CA final. And in all her other subjects, she was in the 40s, 50s. Her aggregate was done and she got her CA ka degree that total only because of these tax marks. So she was that way. There are some students who still have that feeling of gratitude in this era. Otherwise, we as teachers have accepted teaching is a thankless job. Means thank you is also something that we have stopped expecting, believe me. So I asked her that, if you share your strategy with students, it will be good. She recorded a video. Good 15-20 minutes video. Of course, she is a South Indian. When a South Indian speaks English, it is still the English language, but there is an accent associated to it. And I know that you'll see, sir, her photo is not there in the book. The photos that are printed on the back cover of the book are only the last 2 attempts, believe me. The moment a new attempt result will come out, some of the students will have to be removed from this. because I can't be printing all photos of all attempts, and that note also I have written on the back cover. It is not possible. People can advertise too much on one photo if they have only one photo. How many photos do I advertise? So of course her photo is not there. But when she got at that time for 2 years, her photo was there. But gradually I had to remove. No, but that video is still there on my YouTube channel. You can like, share, subscribe, hit the bell button, never miss an update. She said when I saw the I know you're not going to, so let me tell you. When I saw the PGBP question, I got scared because I did not know a few adjustments. But I maintained my calm. I started identifying which adjustments I clearly know, which were the easy adjustments. I started attempting them. I knew all I have to do is add or less. Sir was very clear in his instruction. Pick up an amount, add or less. Pick up an amount, add or less. Sometimes it can be no effect also. So finally, we have three options: add less, no effect; add less, no effect; add less, no effect. I started doing the easy adjustments, and I tick them in the question paper. So I know that these adjustments are done. Then once I started doing, it is like riding a bicycle. Believe me, the first pedal that you put on the bicycle, no, at that time you have to maintain your balance. Once you are done with that, it automatically happens. If you have ever cycle chala, so you know that only the first pedal is difficult, only the start is difficult. Once you start, you will automatically get your way. And later on, she said, except 2 or 3 adjustments, I actually attempted everything correct. More instructions, she said that everything that I used to study, I used to make one small chart of every chapter so that I know that last 1.5 days, it is not possible to study the full syllabus. How can I study the full syllabus in last 1.5 days that I planned from the first day? The best marks are scored by those students who today know very clearly last 1.5 days how I will be studying. Because most students, lot of students lose that hope in the last 1.5. I recently had one podcast kind of a thing with a regional council member of ICAI, and it was like an interview he took. He said, if you had to give one suggestion to president of ICAI, what would it be? I said, you have a gap of 1 day between papers. Once upon a time there was no holiday and they used to back to back papers. 1 day. And now the number of papers have reduced. If you could just increase this gap to 2 days per paper, the overall duration of exam will increase only by 6 days. Or if you can make it 3 days, so nothing like that. So 12 days ka exam will become 24 days ka exam. I don't know whether you are aware, kids who are giving 12th standard board exams right now. I have some cousins, cousin ka children, some nephews, niece who are giving 12th standard board exams right now. They have six days gap between papers. Physical education, they have 6 days. Bro, what are you exactly going to do? Computers, they have 6 days. Chinta. What are you going to do? If you are given 2 or 3 days, between each paper, that will change the overall passing percentage massive. Problem is a lot of students, most students are not able to revise the full syllabus. That is not that way affecting the knowledge because your past studies have been good, but confidence. And with that lack of confidence, you end up not performing well despite being good. If this is one suggestion that institute can implement, increase the number of days between paper. Anybody watching this video, make sure this reaches the president of ICAI. He may or may not do anything, but at least pass the message. You never know if there is some sensible person who believes that how do I change this image of chartered accountancy? There cannot be a course better than chartered accountancy. But image, unfortunately, has the first thing that you tell anyone, CA, pass. Even today, people ask me, CA, clear? Every time somebody is asking me, what are you, CA, doing or cleared? Then I have to show ID. ID, so I showed it to you just to tell you that what it feels once you have it in your pocket. But also, I answer that question by saying, go Google my name. But the image associated with the course is that, bro, no one clears. And even today, people ask me. So just imagine when I had spent, newcomer as a teacher, couple of years as a teacher, and I used to meet parents and students. Imagine what their reaction would be. Like literally parents have come and the first thing that they come and tell me, initial days of my teaching, sir, you are so young. Even today they tell me, sir, you look much younger than I thought you were. Then they actually start interviewing. How many years you have been teaching? Which is why for a lot of years, I maintained that image of mine. You may have seen in the recording if at all you have access. Unidentifiable. देखो. एक second. Let me do it right now. Any random video I start, the initial part of that video is going to be that. You've never seen this? ये नहीं देखा? नहीं दिखा? नहीं show off. गया क्या? It came or it didn't? बाकी YouTube पे you watch any video, it starts with this introduction. Only to look, actually believe me, I purposely used to look older. Because otherwise parents and students are not taking me seriously. And now to hell with everyone, bro, I am so young, why should I be older? If you want to be smart, plan your last 1.5 day. Today only be clear in your mind that at 5 o'clock I will come home for every paper. Maybe I'll take this much time for food or this much time for rest. At this time I will start. On that day I will finish this much. Next day morning at this time I will do that. Timetable, no. Last 1.5 day, you already have your exam timetable. You already know the dates. You know which subject you have 2 holidays, which subject you have 1 holiday. You plan your timetable right now only for your exam days. And I always believe in multiple mock test papers. At least one of the mock tests should be in exam timetable. First accounts, then 1 day holiday law, then 1 day holiday tax, then 1 day holiday costing, 1 day holiday audit, and now in your timetable 2 days holiday, no FMS. One cycle of mock test should always be in exam timetable. And timing also you should give 2 to 5. At 1:45 start reading. Your body clock, your body cycle should be such that 2 to 5 you have maximum alertness in your brain. If today you have the habit of eating late lunch so that you come late to class and then in class you are sleepy, change that habit. Change that habit to an extent that 2 to 5 you should have an alert brain. Develop that cycle, because month of May is that way very, very cruel in terms of weather also. And all these issues appear like non-issues, but when you face them, no, they affect you. So at least this part which is in our control, we are so perfect that we can deal with. Bro, this you are not perfect, then that you are having weather issues, then that your exam hall is some far away place, while filling the form you were not careful, all these other issues, and plus you are sleeping because you have the habit of sleeping in the afternoon. Start early so that you don't have to do all that towards your later part. Ladies and gentlemen, the point is simple, that you are going to get marks for every adjustment. Every amount that you see in the question. Can you see these amounts? You have to decide for these amounts. Add less, no effect, add less, no effect, add less, no effect. Every question will start with a profit and loss account already prepared. PGBP charging section says pay tax on net profit. Net profit comes in P&L, and the P&L account is already made. Accountant has done his job. Your job is not to make the profit and loss account. Your job is to correct the profit and loss account. Start with wrong profit given to you. Do you understand that this amount is going to be given to you? So you'll make the format. Calculation of PGBP, particulars to amount column. First step will be write net profit in the outer column. Then look at the individual amounts in the question, because every individual amount you have to give yourself 3 options. The 3 options are add, less, no effect, add, less, no effect, and every correct answer will bring you marks. This is the way, the method, the trick to solve questions of PGBP, which no one outside this classroom is discussing. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, go to any of the neighboring buildings. Any of the neighboring buildings. In the 5th minute of the class, the students are on the next section. Have you observed 1.5 hours into the class? I have not done a section after 28. I am not discussing the sections. I am discussing what we have to solve to get marks. Not that in this chapter I won't be doing sections or logic. That is my prime target. But I am going to spend more time in how to solve and get those bloody marks. So, P&L given, net profit we write. Everyone has made the format. That is the writing bench. Because all 4 write. Made the format. You never asked me a question. Or you did what I did. Kya? Do you observe all the 4 adjustments? You only observed, I have left some gap. Other than that, you have observed anything? Kya? The left side of every adjustment is what is done in accounts. Expense can be debited or not debited. Income can be credited or which accountant has done. And if this is given to you, you have the brain to understand that anything that is written here is credited. Anything that is written here is debited, and not written is not debited, not credited. Once the P&L account is given to you, do you realize this part of the question is also? So do you realize that to do this much, to write the net profit figure and to check whether the amounts are debited, not debited, or credited, not credited, you don't need to learn any section. I have not taught you any section. All this is given to you in the question. And the right side, if you observe, of every adjustment is the tax effect. Do you observe? Incomes can be ना बड़ा करो वो तुम्हारा कच्ची लैंग्वेज में. What do you say when you have to tell someone that I will remove your clothes and beat you? कच्ची में ऐसे किसी को कपड़े निकाल के नहीं मारते. तो translate. No, I will remove your clothes and beat you. Where do you stay? दादर नहीं हो. I can change the route and take you from there. तो बोल. Translate please. See, if you translate, so I will only say it. If you don't, then I will do it. అవును తోజా కపड़ा कड़ीन ते मारिन दो. कपड़ा कड़ीने मारिन दो. అవును తోజా कपड़ा कड़ीने मारिन दो. Malayalam is easy. They just say thalli kullum. It means I will beat you to death. Aun toja kapda kadinde marindo. Hey Bhagwan, tongue twister it is. You will not get a second chance on this. You can't make a mistake in this because this is too basic. We have to go to lots and lots of complicated stuff. Income can't be allowed or disallowed. Income will be taxable or not taxable, and expense will be allowed or disallowed. So do you realize the right side is the tax effect? In income, what are my 2 options? Taxable or not taxable? Of course, as a part of PGBP. For this, they have not given any section in the chapter. Not a single section in the chapter. You just have to see or use your common sense. But unfortunately, you know what? Common sense is not common. Common sense is so rare that we should actually call it rare sense. Too deep, no, bro. You just have to use your brain and check. Is this activity related to your business or profession? If yes, so it is taxable. If no, so it is not. For example, first answer, sales. Yes. Other business receipts. Business receipt bola to. Now don't say no sir, some other business. One business receipt. Okay, business receipt. Yes. Dividend received from investments. No. Interest on debentures? Rent received from property let out? No. Professional fees received by doctor, lawyer, chartered? So you need common sense. See, come to this. Without teaching a single section to you in the chapter, fee receipts. Yes. Means when you say yes or no, means taxable under PGBP. Rent received, dividend received? No section. Not taxable. No section required to teach you all this. Now come back to what I have written. You just have to use your common sense. So think about it. For writing net profit, no section question will be. For the treatment in accounts, no question, no section that also has to be given. For the treatment in tax, as far as income is concerned, again, no section. If this chapter PGBP expects you to learn sections, it is only this much. The expenses which are allowed, that means can I take their deduction in PGBP, are given from section 30 to section 37(1), and the expenses which are disallowed are given from section 37(2)(b) to section 43(b). You have to learn only this much. Which is the charging section? 28. 28 only taught us net profit. Do you observe after that I have not done any section? If I have to orally speak what is 29, so listen. 29 says compute PGBP according to section 3243(b). Compute PGBP according to 3243(b). So 29 also has not given anything. And at 30, they start giving you expenses which are allowed. That will go on till 37(1). Immediately in that section only another subsection will commence your disallowed expenses 37(2)(b), which will go on till 43(b). That means my section number explanation after 28 will directly be 30. From 30 I will start allowed expense till 37. Then 37(2)(b) I will start disallowed expense till 43(b). Chapter over. Chapter ka sections over. If I teach you allowed expense, disallowed expense, I can make a tall claim I have taught you PGBP. Any of the neighboring buildings you go, any of the neighboring buildings. 3rd minute of the class, 5th minute of the class, they are learning section 30 allowed expenses. We spend 1.5 hours. They learn allowed and disallowed expense immediately. They finish allowed and disallowed expense. Can the teacher claim that I have taught the chapter? I have taught all the sections in the chapter. You will never get marks. Because what is PGBP? Look at the PGBP ka chapter. The act has taught you only this much. How much? Expenses which are allowed and disallowed. Only this much. But to get marks, you have to do this much. If you learn only sections, you will never be able to score marks. Of course, this does not mean that we are not going to learn sections and their logic. Are we going to learn sections? Yes. And their logic? Yes. 30 to 43(b). See, if you don't know allowed expense and disallowed expense, is that the only thing that the act has given? Allowed, disallowed expense is the only thing act has given. Remaining things, we are using our common sense. If you don't know allowed and disallowed expenses, the only thing which the act has given, you are unfit for the exam. You go kill yourself. I have got no sympathy for you. I will order a rope and stool for you online, cash on delivery. How can you not learn allowed, disallowed expenses, the most important part of the chapter? Hello? But my heart goes out to those students who have studied all disallowed and allowed and disallowed sections by heart, proper, perfect. They know every section. That means have they studied the chapter? In fact, full chapter, because they've done all the allowed, disallowed section, but they won't get marks. Because just knowing that the rent that I pay in my classroom or my office is allowed expense, and the rent that I pay in my house is disallowed expense because personal. Just knowing that much is only knowledge of the act. You won't get marks. You have to go and check whether the house rent or the office rent, what has the accountant done. The two possibilities of the accountant are debited or not debited. Accordingly, I will find out what impact came on my net profit figure. If the impact is correct, then no effect. If the impact is wrong, then I add or less. PGBP ka chapter is about use your knowledge of tax. Then see what accountant has done. If accountant has done things in accordance with tax, don't do anything. If not, then add or less. Means you cannot do any adjustment of PGBP without first checking the accounts. Just knowing the law is not enough. Of course, not knowing the law, not knowing the law, you are unfit for the exam. You go kill yourself. I have no sympathy for you. I will order a rope and stool online for you. Cash on delivery. If you don't know the law, then nothing can happen. But if you know the law, you still won't get marks, because for getting marks, you have to go and check the accounts. That is PGBP for you. Sir, so how to do every individual adjustment? Now I am going to give you my main weapon. As in Shastras, they call it the Brahmastra. The main thing that can change the course. If you follow this, I commit the marks to you. It is my commitment. It will take time. It will increase your time consumed. But that can be taken care of with more practice. If you don't follow the steps, thinking that they are too easy, I see a lot of overconfident students in my life. Sir, this is too easy, sir, too easy, sir. अरे easy नहीं है मोहिनी कला. मोहिनी मन वाला गे, हाँ मन वाला. Mohini, well, how can you not know Deepika ji? I take her name, I can't focus on work. You think it is easy, but the problem is that the easy adjustments are very easy. So you will do them directly without following the process that I give. Suddenly there will be a difficult adjustment. If you follow the process, you will get the right answer, but you don't have habit. And you'll waste time in thinking. To go into the habit of doing the steps every time, even in the easy adjustment to the steps. If in the easy adjustments you develop the habit of doing the steps that I will give you, the difficult adjustments will become easy and you won't even realize challenge. Now you follow or you don't follow is your choice, and it is also reflected in how many people have till now finished questions from the additional question bank till house property and have started salary because we have started PGBP. So following or not following of instructions is your choice. Ultimately, my job is to teach. I can teach and finish your syllabus. But if you want to achieve what you are here for, then you have to follow instructions. Are you understanding this? So what do you have to do? You realize net profit will be given. Then the accounts part will be given. Only tax part we have to focus in that also, not the income side, because income side there is no section. Sections in the chapter are only giving us allowed and disallowed expense. If I do allowed and disallowed expense, I have actually finished the entire chapter without teaching you the fact that allowed disallowed expense ka knowledge won't get marks. But everywhere else in coaching classes, one, professors are paid on the number of hours they consume. So if they cross explanation beyond certain number of hours, they don't get paid for it. Plus they are penalized also. I take extra time for explanation of the subject. My time consumed in direct tax is more than standard wise any other class or faculty. I also don't get paid extra. I don't get paid for my normal work also properly. That is also underpaid. Bottle भरना है. हाँ मतलब there has to be some reason. You can't be just opening and listen. I also don't get extra. But yes, I am not given any incentive for taking extra time with any batch. Nothing extra. But at least I am not penalized. I am not forced that whether extra or not extra, you have to finish in these many lectures. Because that restricts my creative freedom, and I can't work only with any such organization who restricts my scope of work. Sir, you have limited budget. You pay me as per your budget. Ultimately, I will agree or I will disagree to work at that budget. But at least you can't force me to finish. in this much time. Sir, students are forcing that, nahi, finish your portion fast. Let me talk to the students. Still, if you say that way, you tell me I can finish your remaining syllabus in the next 3-4 days. You want it that way? No one wants it. I definitely don't want it. In fact, I will be so happy only 3-4 days I will get done with the syllabus. Payment, as I said, will be same only. I will focus on some other work and forget if there is no other work. I will sit and chill. You need time for yourself also. I'll get time for myself and my neighbor's wife. Because my wife knows batch recently resumed. So it takes time. She is a chartered accountant. She knows how much time it takes. You tell me finish in 4 days. I will finish. But I will still leave my house during the class hours. And come back after class. So it is to all the way monetary, non-monetary, all benefits I will get. Still I don't want to finish. Your full focus is on sir, non-monetary. Was her reaction. वो थोड़ी everything थोड़ी I'll tell you in detail. Monetary तो I am benefiting, no, by getting the same amount with such less number of lectures. But do we want it that way? Nahin, na? Nahin. So, of course, had it been any of the neighboring buildings, with due respect, there wouldn't have been so much discussion, and I am still not done with my discussion. We have realized one thing. This is the format. Start with, mine says wrong profit. Paper will say net profit as per profit and loss account. Then 2 adjustments on add side, 1 income, 1 expense, 2 on the less side, 1 income, 1 expense. We have to rectify the mistakes in the profit and loss account. So accounts will be given to us. The debits, the credits are given to us. We have to see, are those debits, credits according to tax? If yes, then no effect. If no, then rectify by adding or lessing. The accounts are given to us, so we have to focus on the tax part. Tax part also, the income side we don't have to learn anything. The act is going to give us only the expense side. Expense side also what? Only the expenses which are allowed, the expenses which are disallowed, and we have to do the rest of it. Correct? Hai? That means how to get marks in PGBP. And do not share this with everyone you meet. You have students of Podar College who are doing CA. Because as far as I know, that college 80% students do CA only. And I told you that some of your toppers of your batch only, probably because last year ka 12th and then June foundation and then May inter. So last year ka 12th only, your 12th was 2024 only. No? Okay, you are confirming with each other. Podar, तो हाँ क्या बोला? अच्छा 12th. Okay. I thought that you came directly from school. He's telling me, sir, 12th I have also given. Thank you for letting me know. I told you, no, some of your college toppers were in the other part of the city over my students. You found out who they are? Sir, these things are not relevant to us. What do we have to do? No problem, find out. 95.67. Not everyone gets, no, in 12th standard. And COVID mein to people got. You all were 10th standard COVID people. So COVID mein people got 90, 95. But this was a non-COVID batch. 95.67, maths 100 out of 100, accounts 100 out of 100, that OC, etc. 95, 97. Bro, aggregate is 95.67. Sometimes the problem with these students is what, they have that 90 stored in their brain. And they want to get 90 and 100 in all exams. They expect that in CA also they will get 90 and 100. That is where the problem arises. You are 90% in any of the subjects? None of the subjects. Aggregate also. Aggregate case none of the subjects. No. You are lucky. You are mentally chill. Okay. I'll get this much. Things will get sorted. No, 12th May you just pass, then you are not.
No, I got 80%.
That's good enough. So you get 80% in inter also. No problem. You can at least have some comparison. Inter mein 90 may not be possible, but 70, 80 is possible. You can get. You have to observe your profit and loss account given to you in the question and start having a conversation with your profit and loss account. Like literally you have to talk to your question paper. This is supposedly your question. Can you see the so many amounts written here? You have to talk to that amount. For example, 8,97,500. You have to talk to it. Ali, ali, ali. Ali, ali, ali. 897 500. I read a proverb in the ad of some, I think it was Airtel. They said, बात करने से ही बात बनती. Start the conversation. Strike the conversation. You never know. You may just get lucky. You never know. Of course, sometimes when you initiate the conversation and the other side says, I don't want to talk to you. So, but at least you have clarity in mind that, okay, you don't want to talk to me. Otherwise, what happens? We don't start the conversation. So we don't know that the other side is not interested. We keep on having imaginary conversation. Have you ever done that? Bro, with me, it happens at this age also. Because I have imaginary conversation. I say next time when I'll meet her, of course it is her, bro. I'm talking about myself. The next time I meet her, I will say this, she will say this, then I will say, then she will be angry for this, but I will explain. I've already had that conversation. And bro, she has blocked me. What's the point on having those conversations? But unless you start, you will never know. So talk to them. You don't know when conversation, gets deeper, no? The love and affection increases. You never know. You may just end up getting your marks. So what do you have to do? Every amount in the question paper, you have to talk to it. Of course, after net profit, because net profit you have already written. You will start your first step. I am only discussing solving of question. You see, I'm still not doing any section. Section ka teaching will start with 30. I am not teaching any section, even now. Section ka explanation will start with section 30, allowed expenses. 30 to 37 1, allowed expenses. 37 2B to 43B, disallowed expenses. Chapter over. Act has given only allowed and disallowed expenses. We have to do the rest. Our first step is going to be pick up the question. Identify the net profit figure of the question. That is 2,46,000. Write it outer column directly. Then make add side, leave space. Make less side, leave space. And now start talking to all the other amounts. So when I said talk to every amount, you'll talk to all amounts other than net profit. Every amount you will have to go and ask 3 questions. Even if it appears to be very, very easy to you. For example, here 897 500, no effect. Our target is add less, no effect, no. 897 500, no effect. Or for a doctor, medicine consumed is business expense, so 242, no effect. But don't come to no effect immediately. Follow the 3 steps, only 3 steps. If it is easy, increase the speed, but do not skip the steps. Because if you follow the steps, I guarantee that you will get your marks, even in the difficult adjustments. So what do you have to do? All these amounts, 242, 165, 47,500, 897,500, 27,000, 9,000, you have to talk to them. What will you do? Ask them 3 questions. Ask 3 questions to all amounts except net profit. Net profit we have written, all other amounts we are talking. Question number 1, go and ask that amount, are you an income or expense? What will you ask? For example, 897 500. Income. Rent 27, credit side means rent received. No? Income or expense? Dividend received? Okay, without this P&L, general knowledge. Purchases? Expense. Salary paid? Expense. Salary received? Rent paid? Expense. Cost of goods sold? Expense. Sales? That means whether an amount is income or expense, you don't need to be taught any law for that, or rare sense as people call it. But rare, no? So rare sense. An amount is income or expense? Common sense. First question, you have to go and ask to every amount. First question is income or expense? Income or expense? But I'll tell you what, one thing, be careful. That amount actually won't answer. Matlab, in case it is not clear, after asking the question, answer you only have to give. So please don't come back after the exam and tell me that, sir, I asked a lot of times. 27,000, income or expense? Income or expense? Sir, I asked lot of times, it didn't answer. So I came home. Bro, you deserve to be blocked. You deserve to be blocked. So 27,000, forget about human beings. The amount also is blocked. Humans block humans. Question paper is blocked. What is that recent song, bro? भोला भाला सीधा साधा था मैं तो ना or maybe वो you full 3 hours you ask 27 income or expense finally you don't attempt and you come back and then teji mangala amang or what is the last thing going on sari umra mein joker exactly so bro just in case it was not clear let me make it clear answer you won't be able to and with common sense are you able to answer now question number 2 will be what happened with you in accounts. Arey, you are again asking, you have to ask every amount that is written in the question paper, all these amounts totally you will be asking 3 questions. Question number 1 was income or expense. Question 2, we will ask what has happened with you in accounts. For income, the 2 possibilities in accounts are credited or not credited. And for expense, the 2 possibilities are debited or not debited. You understand? And do you also understand this? That if this is your question paper, then answer to question number 2 is given to you, right? Means all the amounts that are written here are credited. All the amounts that are written here are debited. And sometimes you will have some adjustment. So the amounts which are written here, maybe you can say they are not credited, not debited. Do you understand? That means first question ka answer will come with common sense. Second question given. How easy it gets, think about it. Income credited, you focus only on third question. Income credited, we focus only on third question. Income credited, here expense debited, expense debited, expense debited. Because sometimes it gets so easy in some of the adjustments, here is where overconfident students make the mistake of not doing these 3 steps. Because suddenly a difficult adjustment will come, amount paid to Scientific Research Association. But you don't have the habit of doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in all the amounts. So you get stuck. No. If from the first amount you have been following what I am telling, promise. I'll do it like that. I'm not just putting the saliva. No, so how do you take promise? Keep your hand on her head and take her. No, not Akash, bro. No, don't keep your hand on his head and take because he has got dependents, bro. Lot of dependents. Lots and lots of dependents. I promise that you will get your full marks. And last step. See, first question, common sense. Second question, accounts will be given to you. Third question, what is your treatment in tax? In tax, an income can have 2 treatments. From the perspective of PGBP, what are the 2 options? Taxable or not taxable. I make it clear from the perspective of PGBP. So by chance there is any other head of income, please understand. It may be a taxable income in entity, but in this chapter our answer will be not taxable only. So exempt income and other heads, for both of them our answer will be not taxable. And anything that is related to PGBP, our answer will be taxable. And what are your options for expenses? Allowed or disallowed. You understand? Now, for example, fee receipts. Taxable in PGBP. But rent, it is income, it is credited, but it is not taxable. It is income, it is credited, but it is not taxable. That means whatever is correct, our final conclusion is no effect. But whatever is wrong, we will have to change that because our profit is becoming wrong. That is PGBP for you. So the moment you ask your 3 questions, and of course question 2 and 3 will depend on first question. Question first, income or expense. If it is income, So this is your question 2 and 3. If it is expense, so this is your question number 2 and 3. At least that much is understood. Hello. Now, here, based on the answer that you get to question 2 and question 3, you will have 4 permutations. Question 2 ka answer can be credited, and then when you ask question 3 also, then your answer can be taxable. Is that a permutation that we will get? For example, this amount, our permutation was what? Credited and taxable. What is the second possibility? Credited and not taxable. Think about it. The dividend and the rent that is given here. Credited and not taxable. Tell me, what are the last two possibilities? Question number 2 ka answer, not credited and taxable. And question number 2 ka answer, not credited. Question number 3 answer, not taxable. Are these the 4 possibilities of the incomes? Fantastic. So then similarly, derive the 4 possibilities of expenses. Debited and allowed. Very good. Debited and disallowed. Very good. Not debited and allowed. And not debited and disallowed. Do you understand this? Time has this you don't use calculator. Time has come to get your marks. You want marks? Then your mouth should now utter only one of the following 3 things. Add, less, no effect. Add, less, no effect. If you speak one of them and that's correct, you get your marks. If you speak anything else, you lose your marks. Any income which is credited and it is taxable. Is it correct? All you have to see, is it correct? So what to do? No effect. Now see, let's talk about this. Fee receipts, 897, 500. Let's ask the 3 questions. Income, credited, taxable, no effect. By the way, if you don't do these 3 steps, you already know fee receipts will be a part of this. So initially only you decided no effect. But what you're not understanding is, if you are so overconfident of not doing the 3 steps for the easy adjustments, then suddenly when you come to this adjustments, you won't have the habit. If it is easy, do it fast. Income, credited, taxable, no effect. You understand? If it is easy, increase your speed, but do not skip the steps. Next, rent. Income, credited, but not taxable. So credited and not taxable is a mistake. How to rectify that mistake? Add less, no effect, only 3 options. Add less or no effect. It's a mistake, so no effect can't be the answer. Less. Why less? By crediting, you've increased your profit. How to rectify? By reducing. Do you understand this? Mitro, income which is credited but not taxable. The left side. Understood? Chalo, let's go ahead. Not credited and taxable. If you have not written, means profit is less, but you have to pay tax. Increase. Add. So on the add side, if you see, not credited but taxable. Do you observe this? Last, not credited, not taxable. From your mouth, you should be using only one of the 3 terms. Let's talk about the expenses. Debited and allowed. Survive, no effect, because what you have done is correct only. So no effect. Next, debited and disallowed. Huh? Debited and disallowed. Take your time, but give me the accuracy is my target. Huh? Add. Survive. By debiting, I have reduced. So see, once something is debited, less can never be your answer. Believe me, options are only add or no. Because already debited, you can't further reduce. Then you're not understanding what debit does to profit and what credit does to profit. Then I won't do anything for you. I'll just pass your information. It is already reduced by debiting. If it was correct, so we won't do anything. But if it is wrong, so we will do what? Add expenses which are debited and disallowed. And last, no, second last, not debited and allowed. Less. Why? Because you have not debited, but you can take the deduction, so minus. And finally, not debited and not allowed, so no effect. So do you realize we have two adjustments on the add side, one income, one expense. Two adjustments on the less side, one income, one expense. Totally four adjustments that we do after writing net profit. Can be done by talking to every amount. Every amount, go and develop conversation. If you develop conversation, you never know, you may just get lucky. Remember that the amount will not give the reply. Answer you only have to give. Hello. And do you realize that we have spent 2 hours on charging section, not gone to the next section actually. We are the only people who are doing it. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, have you all understood that? Sorry about the network issue. We are back here. Do you understand that the act is going to give us only this part, the allowed and disallowed expenses. Allowed expenses are given from 30 to 37, but I haven't gone to any section after 28. More than 2 hours we have spent not on the law, but on how to solve. Because if I teach you this part, I can make a very, very big claim. Sir, I have completed the chapter. Hey, bro, you won't get 1 mark. Because to get marks, you have to do this. You have to actually go and you will have to go and ask questions to every amount. If you don't ask those questions, you won't get your marks. Is that very clear to everyone? Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we will be doing in PGBP. I am going to teach you expenses which are allowed, expenses which are disallowed. Once I do that, we can say that the chapter is over. We have to calculate PGBP. PGBP start with wrong profit, make the adjustments, derive the correct profit. Adjustments will be in the form of add, less or no effect. Every correct thing you do, you will get your marks. So accountant ka job we don't have to do. We have to pick up the net profit and rectify the wrong net profit to derive our PGBP. For this, the Act has taught us only allowed disallowed expense. So the sections are only on allowed disallowed expense. So if you don't know the allowed disallowed expense, you are unfit for the exam. You go kill yourself. I have no sympathy for you. I will order a rope and stool online for you. Cash on delivery. But if you know the allowed disallowed expense, you still won't get marks. Because to get marks, you will have to do this. And every section that I teach you, we will also discuss this part. All you have to do is learn allowed or disallowed. After learning that, check accounts, check accounts, check accounts, check accounts. Without checking accounts, you will never come to your conclusion about add, less or no effect. And every correct add, less, no effect is going to bring your marks. Every wrong add, less, no effect is going to take away your marks. Is that clear? Ladies and gentlemen, what has the Act only taught us? Allowed expenses. Allowed expenses are ranging from section 30 to section 37(1), and thereafter we will be having the disallowed expenses. Disallowed expenses will be ranging from section 37(2)(b) to section 43(b). This is what we have to do. If we do this, chapter will get over. ये clear है? Let's go first to the obviously allowed expenses. Just knowing that this expense is allowed is not going to help you. After learning this is allowed expense, your job is to go and check the accounts. What are the two possibilities? Accounts में two possibilities are income or expense. Allowed expense का two possibilities are income or I asked allowed expense, what are the two possibilities in accounts? Allowed expense, what are the two possibilities in accounts? Income or Poison anyone? Little. Give it to her, no, please. Ganja you have. What do you call ganja in English? Marijuana. Marijuana. नहीं. Weed. Weed. Ganja, ganja. So come and sit on the first bench. From now, this I will do to you. एक minute. You want one more break? You can go and take it. For the rest of you all, this happens to be my second attempt. Expenses which are allowed in accounts, what are the two possibilities? Debited or let me check my heart rate. इसमें आता है somewhere. I also don't know how to high. Blood pressure, ECG also is there. कैसे होता है रे? Allowed expenses, what are the two possibilities? Debited or not debited. Accountant can do whatever. See, you will learn whether expense is allowed or disallowed as per taxation. But accountant can do whatever. And let the accountant actually make the mistake, because you get money only as long as he is making a mistake. If the accountant has debited and allowed expense, so his treatment is correct. And your treatment in your answer will be three options only. Add less, modify. Think and answer, no problem, no effect. But if the accountant has not debited this expense, which is an allowed expense, then your treatment will be, means I am teaching you this part, 30 to 37. But every time a section gets over, that won't help us to get marks. Because the last step to get marks after learning this will be, go check this. This will decide what we are going to do in our answer paper. Do you understand? Everyone? Fantastic. So, first section, section 30. Rent, rates and taxes, repairs, and insurance premium are all these expenses that you are incurring. All these expenses that you have incurred, the asset on which you have incurred is a building. That means you have paid rent of building, rates and taxes of a building, repair expense of a building, insurance premium of a building. And with whatever limited knowledge of taxation you have gathered so far, you know that income tax does not distinguish between full building and part building. It need not be full building taken on rent. Unit in a building is also considered as building. So you can be paying rent of only one office, rates and taxes only of one office, repairs and insurance only of that office. You won't be paying rent of all the offices in the building. No. You are paying 5 expenses, rent, rate, taxes, repairs and insurance on one asset, that is building, with one condition, main condition, only condition, that one thing that you have to take home from here is that this building should be used for the purpose of business or profession. Then and only then it will be allowed. The only condition, main condition, deciding condition is that the building should be used for business or profession. Business or profession. Then only it is going to be considered as allowed. Otherwise, the expense is going to be disallowed. So, supposingly, I am paying. You think I can buy office?
Yes.
One more thing I want to clarify. In case there is confusion, I am this. You are confusing it to this. I am both. Thank you so much. This is still not visible, so you can't conclude about this. This, of course, is a visible thing. Still, you believe I am both? Without knowing this? Matlab, this is to 100% guarantee. You still feel I can buy office?
Yes.
Of course. But then, after a decade plus of hard work, you are going to be able to manage some real estate by yourself. And in Mumbai city, it takes that much time. Believe me, had it been a tier 2, tier 3 city, by now probably there would have been more real estate purchased. You have to keep working, keep working, keep working, keep working. The power of not giving up is real, believe me. It is not that at this age and stage and maturity and professional experience, I don't get disappointed. Once in a while, I also have disappointment. How I wish the number was a little more than what it is right now. More numbers automatically mean more revenue with the same effort. Once in a while, I too, have this feeling. But the only thing I tell myself, keep working. The numbers have to come. One day they will come. Beginning of my career, I had to tell this to myself again and again and again. Now I don't have to tell it. It happened. But still, I pray that everyone will do that. That more and more numbers come. There was a time where expenses of running a batch was more than the revenue of the batch. But with times, things have changed. So yes, I purchased an office. But if someone does not have the money to buy an office, what will you give? Rent. Is that rent of office? Only condition, main condition, deciding condition are you using it for business or profession. So if I take a classroom on rent, it will be allowed expense. If I take a house on rent, is it an expense? Yes. Debited, not debited, bro. Accountant can do anything. Is that allowed or disallowed? Disallowed, because the only condition is used for business. Rent of office will be allowed. Rent of home will not be allowed. You understood? Rates and taxes. See, first time since you have been learning accounts now from class 11, all of you are here since class 11. So what did I say? Year since class 11. No, you all came directly in your CA study year. Then I can peacefully give you this example. Otherwise, I would also have been at risk. So whoever taught you accounts in class 11, foundation nahi, huh? Class 11, enter class 11, must have taught you rent, rates and taxes, rent, rates and taxes. You always wrote them together. Rent we know, when I don't have money, I will pay rent. What is rates and taxes? Sir, wo pata nahi. Sir, all we know is we write them together. You never bothered to ask your accounts teacher, what are rates and taxes? Municipal taxes paid at the rates decided. You asked your accounts teacher. No, in house property chapter, I only told you that. Okay, I am telling you, for those of you who don't. If I don't have money to buy the property, I will pay the rent and the owner will pay the property taxes. So owner will have income from house property because residential or commercial, GAV minus municipal taxes. But if I am doing business in my own office, people do business in their own shop, own office, there won't be rent. But I will still have to pay the annual property taxes at the rates decided by the local authority. Am I paying property taxes of my office? So I will get deduction of that rates and taxes. What if I pay property taxes of my house? Will I get that as deduction here? No. I get that deduction in house property. That also is let out. SOP में तो direct NAV is. Repairs, we are talking about general day-to-day repairs. Huh? We are not talking about repairs of capital nature, which is increasing the life of the asset. If it is capital expenditure, it won't come here. For that, we have a separate section. In accounts also, we don't debit capital expenditure. You all know capital and revenue. Repairs of revenue nature. Supposingly paint has come off, we have got it painted again. Some basic day-to-day repairs. Can we do that at office? Allowed or disallowed? Recently, when I moved the house, we had to do the painting work at the new house also. Disallowed. So the main condition, only condition is this, no? And same thing is for insurance premium. Office, allowed. Home, not allowed. So, do you realize that therefore, if you have incurred the expense for your office, it is going to be allowed. But same expense if you have incurred for your house, it is going to be. But this is what the act will give you. If you don't know that home expenses disallowed and office expenses allowed, you are unfit for the exam to cash on delivery. Short crash course. If you don't know that household expenses disallowed and business expenses allowed, so you are unfit for the exam. So are you aware that expenses incurred, rent, rate, taxes, repairs and insurance, 5 expenses on one asset, that is building, full or part. If used for business profession, it will be allowed. If used for any other purpose, it will be disallowed. That's your knowledge of the law. You acquired it, but you won't get marks. You want marks? Just say yes. No is also an option. You want marks? So you have to do this one more step. You will have to go and check. What, sir? What are the 2 options in accounts? Of this particular thing in accounts? Debited or not debited. And this also will be debited or. After checking the accounts, you have to come to one bloody conclusion: add less, no effect, and that will bring your marks. Add less or no effect. First, office expenses allowed. That is your knowledge of law. If debited, no effect, not debited. Peacefully answer. Less. So do you realize allowed expenses? If debited, no effect. If not debited, less. Supposingly household expense. Disallowed is your knowledge, but go check the accounts. If debited, then add. And if not debited, no effect. Did you understand this? Rent, rate, taxes, repairs and insurance premium of building, provided the building is used for business or profession. Done. Khatam. Section. So like this, we have to finish sections from 30 to 37 1. And I know you are counting. 32? Acha. So Raju, bro, 32 will start today. Will get over day after tomorrow. Today, tomorrow, day after. And plus you are counting 30, 37, 37. No. This is not counting. This is law. You will have 35 AD, 35 CCA. You will have section between sections. For example, 36. You will 36 1 1, 36 1 1A, 36 1 1B, 36 1 2, 36 1 3, 36 1 4, 36 1 4A, 4B, 4C, 4D. Section, subsection, clause. With that, we have subclause, proviso, lots and lots. Bro, lots and lots. Section 32 is the biggest section of your entire syllabus. Has there been any section which has got split into 3 lectures? No. 32 will start today. Won't get over today or tomorrow. Will get over day after tomorrow. We'll talk about it. But first section 30, rent, rate, taxes, repairs and insurance. 5 expenses on one asset. Which asset? Building. Full or part, it can be anything, but provided you have used it for the purpose of business or profession. Section 31. Repairs and insurance premium. This time for 2 different assets. Assets are changing, no? Last time it was which asset? Building. This time it is furniture or plant and machinery. One more time, only condition, main condition, deciding condition, something that you have to take home from here is this, provided it is used for business or profession, business profession, business profession. So building, we had 5 expenses: rent, trade, taxes, repairs, and insurance premium. But we still have 2 more expenses for 2 other assets: furniture and plant and machinery. Let's talk about furniture. Can you see the classroom benches, the chair, the reception ka chair, the reception ka table? Furniture. Furniture, it will sometimes undergo repair mode. The bench, the chair, sometimes there will be repair. Will we incur repair expense? For classroom furniture used for business profession, allowed expense. But recently I also repaired my sofa and dining table at home. It is furniture. It is repair of furniture. But that is disallowed because it is personal. Because one condition, main condition, only condition, deciding condition used for business or profession. Plant and machinery. See, plant and machinery, the definition in income tax is very wide. Listen to this discussion, general knowledge. In income tax law, plant and machinery is not just those big complicated machines which we involve or invest in factories. Income tax plant and machinery is basically anything that makes your job easy. Like literally that scene of the movie Three Idiots. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Machine. What is a machine? Anything that makes your job easy is a machine. That means those factory assets are machine. The AC installed in a coaching class is machine. The computer, laptop, projector is machine. The computers in a CA firm are machine. The audio system that we have is a machine. The water cooler that we have is a machine. If a company has purchased motor car for its directors, auditors, etc., day-to-day work of office, because this condition we can't forget, no? So motor car purchased, machine. Aircraft purchased for day-to-day office work, that's the main condition. Without that, it can't be an allowed expense in any case. But all that is considered as plant and machinery. Motor car, aircraft is also plant and machinery. AC, projector, computer, laptop, they are all plant and machinery. The sound system, audio system that we have is also plant and machinery. All these assets are going to be considered as plant and machinery. Plant and machinery. Are you understanding this? Now, with the examples that I give you, understand plant and machinery is wide. Do you understand there is likelihood of them undergoing some kind of repair? Here, though, people don't dare doing it, but of course, in your colleges, on the benches, you do write some good messages. College bench. Huh. In the past, there have been, now these days, we have classrooms equipped with CCTV. You are going to get caught immediately. In the past, we did not have this culture. There used to be students who wrote their messages on the benches. Then I was very angry. I called the student because I identified the handwriting. I said, you should have said this on my face. You never know, you could have been lucky. Arey bro, the message was that, sir, can you give 50% refund? Wo wale points I was talking about. That you never know, you can get lucky. Try writing it on the bench. Sir, can you give? एक बार लिख के देखो. There was one student who was solving the question. Paper was over, so solve the balance question on the bench. Once when I was taking a lecture in Kerala, CA final lecture, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. It was already 6:45 p.m. I gave a question. I said, solve this, and then I will leave you. So most students at 6:45 thought that he stopped teaching. They started keeping all that stuff in their bags. He kept, that was this one student. It was a 150, 200 ka batch size. They kept all the books. I said, this question you have to solve, otherwise I won't leave. Then I left the classroom. I said, I am coming back. You will leave only after you solve the question, otherwise I won't leave. That boy was feeling too lazy to remove the book. So he thought that, sir, he said, I will not disappoint, sir. Sir wants what? Solve the question before. Where to solve, sir, has not said. So now why remove the book again? He started solving on the bench, not realizing that the classroom was facing the board, the professor, and the entry exit door was behind the students. See, some classrooms have door facing the students, but some classrooms have doors be like our classroom, we have door behind the student. I was actually at the door observing what people are doing. And in such a big classroom, you don't know that corner wala door, whether the teacher is in the classroom or outside the classroom. I saw him doing it. Then I gave him two options. Option one, remove your clothes. Wait, let me complete. Let me complete. Kapda kadinda marindo. Was that right? Aun toja kapda kadin marindo. Something like that. I said, you remove your clothes and clean this table with your t-shirt. Go put some water on your t-shirt. Go to the tap. Bring your wet t-shirt. Little from the wet portion, then dry it from the dry portion. Option two, clean it with your tongue. Only two options. No third option. Sir, can I bring a dusting cloth? Sir, it's a gel pen. It will go like that only. Gel pen, it goes easily. Marker pens cannot be easily removed. Marker also, erasable marker comes and permanent marker comes. I give only two options. Or third option is your admission will be cancelled without any refund of fees. No, you can't be disrespecting classroom property for various reasons. If your conclusion is, sir, that classroom did not belong to you, why so much of pressure from you? Let the classroom owner decide. No, sir, we get something in life by respecting these assets. You can never be disrespecting the classroom infrastructure. It is this infrastructure that is giving you the knowledge. Don't disrespect anyone. So classroom infra to out of question. You can't be, that is a form of misbehavior. And by a CA, from a CA final student, please understand, we don't expect that. You have been working in an articleship firm. So that means, is it safe to conclude that you must be bringing home stationery from that office? If this is your behavior in the classroom, I will not tolerate that. So you try doing it. No, never do that. But in case people do that, they end up writing some spiritual dharmic message on the bench. Kya? Phone number? Whose phone number? Own phone number. What is the point in writing your own phone number? Directly give it, no. Likho. 9. Then by chance, if you call on that number, if I give you my number and you call on that number as a crank call, if you try doing it, my reply will be, Mummy kaisi hai? Bro, we have reached that age gap. By dhire dhire, slowly and gradually, I'm reaching that age where the only thing that I can actually tell the student is, Mummy kaisi hai? वो that अभी what to do, bro? हाँ, तो phone number, no point in writing. But whatever you write, we will have to incur the repair expense. ये correct है? If you are incurring that repair expense of your furniture or plant and machinery like computer, AC, audio system in office, allowed expense. At home, of course, at home I don't write messages to my wife on the dining table. Have you ever done this, spoken to your family members while at home only on message? You are at home, family member is at home, but you're still talking on WhatsApp. It happens on two occasions. Occasion one, you all are in different rooms, and two, as a bed pay, you are lying down and you want to talk. Forget about talking. You call each other from one room to the other. And when you are otherwise not talking to your family member, but you still want to convey some important message that today this parcel will come, please keep it. Bro, So Indian families, it does happen. I also don't like talking to people at home, but unfortunately, it is their home, so you have to talk. I can't remove them from the house, and I can't remove myself also, so I have to tolerate. Bro, है ना? हाँ, तो listen. At home, still sofa ka chair broken or dining table chair broken or home AC repair expense can be incurred and insurance also. Such expense will be allowed or disallowed. Because one more time, the main condition, only condition, deciding condition is what Mitro used for the purpose of business and profession. Only condition. So whether the building or the plant and machinery and furniture, the expense will be allowed only if used for business. So this part is same. And do you realize this part you will have to do again, because ultimately whatever be your knowledge of the law, you have to go and check, yeah sir, what has the accountant done? Do you understand, everyone? Fantastic. Now observe section 31 is also over. Observe section 30 carefully, 31 carefully. Observe the two sections carefully and tell me if you have any query. Tell me if you have any query. That is if you purchase the asset. No, till now you have not purchased the asset. So what about that? Is it possible that we have taken the plant and machinery or furniture on rent? Is that an expense? Now, in my example, consider office plant and machinery and furniture only. Because these days we have a good number of startups who are in furniture and plant like AC rent. AC is also you get on rent. Furniture you get on rent. Bro, everything you get on rent. You get human beings also on rent. You get chief minister on rent. Not in Maharashtra. We are talking about Delhi. Maharashtra. One thing you always remember, never comment on local political parties. Never. Say all of them are very good. If you want to comment on national political parties. Because national political parties won't come and hit you. Local political parties will come and hit you. And by the way, we are in the other right. And supposingly you ask them, why are you hitting me? They will hit you more. Then their staff only will record the video and put on their social media and proudly say that see, we are hitting you. But national political parties don't have time to come and take action against you or to hit you. They have their Italian priorities. Bro, where they'll get time to come here. Italian. Are these assets taken on rent for business? I'm not asking about residential furniture or plant and machinery. I'm asking about business. Is that a business expense? Yes. Will that expense be allowed as a deduction in section 30? Yes, no, rent is covered here. No. Why no? Because 30 covers only building, so you can't take that deduction. So no problem. 31 covers no plant and machinery furniture. Then take the deduction here. No, but 31 does not cover rent. See, as far as the repairs and insurance are concerned, they are covered. Rates and taxes can't come on furniture, plant and machinery. They can come only on immovable property. But rent can come. Rent of furniture, plant and machinery not covered under 30 because 30 caters only to building, and not covered under 31 because 31 covers only furniture and plant and machinery, the repairs and insurance. It does not cover rent. So can I conclude after the plain reading of 30 and 31 that therefore plant and machinery and furniture ka rent, that is rent of plant and machinery and furniture, is not allowed. Not allowed under section 30. Why? Because 30 covers only building. Building. And not allowed under 31 because 31 covers only repairs and insurance. But allow me to add Allowed expenses are not over. They are started. They have just started. As we move further, is it possible that some other section it will be allowed? But till now, it is not allowed. Is that understood, everyone? So, section 30, rent, trade, taxes, repairs and insurance of building. 31, repairs and insurance of plant and machinery and furniture. Both sections, one condition, main condition, only condition, deciding condition is that it should be used for the purpose of business or profession. Business or profession. If used for business, allowed. If used for personal use, not allowed. That's knowledge of the law. If you don't know that home expense not allowed and business expense allowed, then you are unfit for the exam to cash on delivery. But if you know that home expense is not allowed, business expense allowed, you still won't get marks. Why? Go check the accounts. This will decide whether you will get your marks. PGBP mantra to get marks is this. And to get this, you will have to go and check this. Without checking accounts, you cannot do anything in this question. And therefore, in this chapter, our focus on sections, yes. Logic of the sections, yes. But more than the section, we also are continuously focusing on how to solve the approach, those 3 steps: income or expense, treatment in accounts, treatment in tax. If you follow those 3 steps ka strategy, challenge, promise, guarantee, no one can take away your marks. Your enemy cannot take away your marks. Do you understand? Everyone perfect hai? Hello. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to section. Take a deep breath. Leave your breath. Don't hold your breath because this will go on till day after tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Yeah. Section 32, the deduction for depreciation. So till now we were talking of all poor, garib, garib, as the South Indian students call it, Pava Pittavan. So the tongue twister hai. But right, poor people. Poor people. Tamil में भी it is same only. No? Tamil में poor is called what? हाँ? ये रही. छोड़ो. Because now we are going to rich people, and rich people, Amir people, they are same in Tamil and Malayalam. They call it Panakkaran. तुम रहने दो. Rich people, Amir log. By the way, in English we call it rich. In Hindi we call it wrong, bro. In Hindi it is Dhanwan. It is an open challenge. I think I have told you this. If you claim that you know Hindi, I will give you 15 words. You give me 10 correct translations, and I agree that you know. Out of 15, 10. Matlab 5 wrong, I am allowing those. Whoever is ready to take, okay, ye hai poor. Understood. Whoever is ready to take the challenge at any point of time. Bollywood has forced us to believe that Urdu is Hindi. You have no idea that you think you are talking in Hindi, but what you are speaking is Urdu. Garib and Amir are both Urdu words, not Hindi. In case you have that confidence, no, sir, you ask me those 15 words. No. By the way, I don't have any problem with Urdu, because if you have to be poetic, that is possible only in Urdu. I have got no problem whether you are a Hindi speaking person or Urdu speaking person, as long as you are taking admission in my class and paying me. Whatever language you speak, it does not make any difference to me. But you cannot speak Urdu when you are saying that I am speaking Hindi. At least that clarity you should be having. You say I am talking in Urdu and talk in Urdu. Main thing is that person should understand the communication. But Bollywood has forced you to believe. For example, horse. What do you call it in Hindi? Ghoda is Urdu, bro. In Hindi, it is called Ashwa. One mistake हो गया. Total 5 mistakes only I have allowed. Sword. Talwar is Urdu, bro. In Hindi, it is called Khadag. Khadag. Talwar is Urdu, bro. Talwar is Urdu. Just in case you didn't know that. हो गया second mistake. Dog. Kutta is Urdu, bro. The first word that comes to your mind is Urdu. In Hindi, it is called swan. You go find out, bro. You go find out. Open challenge. Open challenge. Brother. Now you get the game, I believe. I think you got the game. Bola, sir, whatever is the first word, I will not speak that. For example, dead body. No, you're not speaking that word which came instantly. But purposely you're trying to speak in Sanskrit. Dead body. Lash? No. You know by now. No. Shav hai, shav. One last. Punishment. Saza? No, bro. Saza is Urdu. It's dand in Hindi. You don't know Hindi. Let's accept that. Let's move ahead in life. Problem is not you. Problem is not you. Problem is Bollywood that has convinced you that luck in Hindi is nasib. It is bhagya. Problem is Bollywood that has convinced you that success is kamyabi. No, it is safalta. So basically, language cannot be a barrier as long as you understand what the other person is speaking. Bro, you don't need words also. You don't need language. You want to abuse someone, one gesture, hand gesture is also enough. Language is not required for communication. Bro, sometimes you can communicate by only looking into the eyes. Now make that noise now. Oh, language is not required. Do you understand? So coming back to the Kam Dhanda. I was waiting for this. Therefore, I said before starting depreciation, I need my third dose for the day. And then when I say third dose for the day, it does not literally mean third of the day. During the day, it must be the 6th or 7th. Third dose for the lecture. I told you, no, I am an addict. नहीं वो वाला नहीं. One student had made शायरी on this habit of mine कि सर को लगती है कम से कम एक लेक्चर में 2 कप चाय. Then he said चाय ना मिले तो खो देते हैं अपना आपा. नेबर्स वाइफ को देख के भूल जाते हैं कि ये है एक बच्चे के पापा. हाँ. रैप नहीं, he had made it. A couple of batches ago, there was one student in this classroom also. His name was Sufyan. I don't know whether some of you all know him. No? Sufyan? They were all in the same batch. May 24 wala batch. He had to made, I think the shairi that he has made is one of my most viewed reels. एक line, and then he said that day I came to know that he actually performs professionally also. You look at him, you'll not identify or you'll never make out that he's so talented. But every line and the rhyme of every line, bro. But then it cannot happen without Urdu. Poetic justice can come only with Urdu. Let's stop the fight between Hindi and Urdu. Just pay me and take admission. Fight is over. Believe me, the fight is over. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, till now we were talking about garib, poor people who are taking building on rent. I said, okay, can I take office on rent? Can I take furniture office on rent? So yes, I took 12 years of walls. Are rent ka what you are saying? Yes. Now the question is, I am no longer taking building, furniture, plant and machinery on rent. Can I buy the office? Yes. Yes. Can you buy the office? See, in your student life, you don't think about the answer. Right now, the answer is no. But the question is, can you buy the office? Yes, I will do it. Yes, as early as possible. Set a target for you. Next 5 years, I want to own this asset. Set a target that in 5 years, I want to clear CA and buy my first two-wheeler with my own money. 2 years later, I want to buy my first car, four-wheeler with my own money. 10 years later, I want to buy my own, small or big, whatever be the size as per budget, but house or office. Set your targets, work for those targets. Simple. Simple. Said then only you know what you want to achieve, you know how to work accordingly. One day it will happen. One day it will happen. Krishna has told Arjun, have patience. One day you will get everything that you have worked hard. No one can take that away from you. No one can take that away. So finally you have purchased your building, plant, machinery, furniture. Is the purchase price an expenditure for the purpose of your business? And bloody hell, I am only talking about, I'm not even talking about purchase of house or purchase of sofa dining table at your house or purchase of AC or microwave or TV or fridge, washing machine at your house. I am asking about purchases made related to business. So the furniture purchase for the classroom or the AC or the projector or the computer, the laptop, is this asset acquired for the purpose of business? Is that a business expense? Yes. Any business expense, common sense. If we incur a business expense, should we get deduction? Yes. But when you purchase an asset, should you, can you, will you get deduction of the entire cost of asset in 1 year? No. Even accounts does not allow. Accounts also debits the cost of that asset in small amounts in the name and nature of depreciation. So tax will also give you deduction. Deduction means tax benefit. Everyone agrees that if we take deduction, we reduce the taxable income. So we pay lower tax. Tax will give you deduction. But because the useful life of the asset is multiple years, we will give you deduction on a year-on-year basis of small amounts in the name and nature of depreciation. So when you take an asset on rent, we will talk about these sections. But finally, when you acquire the asset, we'll give small parts of that cost as your deduction over the years. Do you understand? So when you studied depreciation for the first time in your accounts, first time, you must have been taught something like this. Depreciation is the reduction in the value of asset due to wear and tear. What else? Bus, constant use. And क्या बात कर रहे हो? You don't know all this? Wear and tear, constant use, passage of time. No one said it. You didn't say it, no? Depreciation is the reduction in the value of asset due to wear and tear, constant use, passage of. None of you all said it. सर आए क्या? नहीं, ठीक है, आए तो हाई बोल. नहीं, this message will go for sure. That depreciation का definition in accounts, no one gave in the class. I confirmed twice, huh? Anyone said it? No. This is the definition of depreciation. Now you deal with, because after playing this game with you, what if I tell you, bye, see you, take care, mwah. Tax is least interested in that definition. Tax says you are incurring expense, they will give you deduction. Have you acquired an asset? we will give you deduction provided you fulfill the two conditions. Condition 1, the asset has to be owned. So obviously your asset which you pay and acquire, only that asset ka depreciation you will take. No, rented asset ka depreciation you will take. No, neighbor's asset ka depreciation you will take. No, bro, you will take depreciation only on your assets. The asset has to be owned by you. And second, the asset has to be used for the purpose of business or profession, which is a mandatory condition for any expense. Means whether I write this part or no, whether this section, that section, that section, any section, are you doing PGBP? The expense has to be business expense. You won't be getting deduction of any non-business expense. So if there is any asset at home, your home itself, is that owned? The sofa, dining table, AC at home, is that owned? But you won't get depreciation deduction. Why? Not used for business. Two conditions to get deduction of depreciation, and you have to sing with me: owned and used. Whether I mention business or no, it is taken for granted. It is understood. Whether specified or not specified, any expense ka deduction will be given only if the expense is incurred for business. So for learning purposes, any expense of depreciation will be allowed only if the asset is owned and used. Owned and used. Louder. Two conditions. You have to own the asset and use. And use, whether mention or don't mention, of course, it has to be for the purpose of business. Is that clear? So, to hell with what you have done, not to hell with what you have done in accounts. Let accounts remain in accounts. In tax, you are asking for deduction. So, if I go and buy a computer of 1 lakh rupees, it is a business expense. I am not talking about household purchases. It is a business expense. I will get deduction. Not together, because useful life is multiple years. I'll get small amounts of deduction by calling them deduction of depreciation of this year, provided the computer is owned and used for business or profession. If you fulfill two conditions, you will get deduction. 100 times I will ask you, and 100 times you will have to answer. Two conditions to get depreciation deduction. Two conditions to get depreciation deduction. Own. Now in both these conditions, they have kept one escape route, a secret route, which only you and me will discuss. Don't share it with everyone. In assets which are owned, we will also include any asset which is acquired on hire purchase. What is hire purchase? Installment sale. I think it is removed from inter syllabus, but was it there in foundation? Foundation may be not there. What do you mean by thoda tha? Acha, law में it was there. Accounts में it is not there. You all are very happy that wow sir, only 6 papers, so much content removed. But the point is, without doing chapters like hire purchase, departmental account, single entry था. Branch accounts is there in inter. I think branch account is the only practical subject with practical chapter which is left now in inter ka account. Majority accounts has become theory only, no accounting standards. Any other holding company accounts you all have? Consolidation? Yes. You do have in your syllabus. Kya crazy things they have done with inter ka account syllabus. Consolidation was a part of CA final. And all these other chapters like branch accounting, departmental accounting, your single entry, all of them were a part of inter ka syllabus. Foundation syllabus of accounts was basically final accounts and issue of shares. That's it. All the advanced level chapters like redemption of preference shares, redemption of debentures, all that they have put in foundation now. Crazy. The foundation accounts is more difficult than inter. In final also majority it is Ind AS only. Amalgamation you all had in foundation ke inter? Amalgamation you all had in inter. Oh good lord. So hire purchase is basically if you don't have money to buy the full asset. So you can take the asset on loan. This is very easy. Supposingly I want to buy an office. I will pay 60 lakh rupees for the office and 40 lakh I have finance using bank. So my cash outflow is 60 lakh. Legal ownership I will get only after I pay all the installments of the bank. In such a case, the accounting journal entry I am telling you, asset account debit will still be 1 crore rupees. To bank account 60 lakhs, that is my down payment. To vendor account or loan account, which is a liability which I will one by one pay, is that 40 lakh of loan. So am I recording the asset at its full value in account despite making part payment? So what they are trying to say here, are you the owner of the asset? Believe me, legal ownership you will get only after last installment. If you miss any installment, the bank has the right to repossess your asset. But accounts follows a concept called substance over form. They will assume that you are going to pay all your installment. They are going to assume that you are the owner of this asset only by making down payment. Means if I make full payment, am I considered as owner? And if I make only down payment, I am still, I am yet to pay my installments and become the legal owner. I am still considered as owner. In accounts also, believe me, this chapter is not there in your syllabus, so you don't know. In accounts also, depreciation is charged in the books of buyer. It is assumed that buyer has taken ownership. Slowly and gradually, the installments will be paid. Depreciation is charged in books of buyer. So you make full payment or part payment, you will be considered as owner. And bro, kya manipulation you can do in this. For example, first car that I purchased in my life was 8 lakh rupees. 8 lakh rupees. 2 lakh rupees ka down payment I made. 6 lakh rupees was bank finance. But I started charging depreciation on 8 lakhs. Because full payment or part payment, depreciation will be same. The depreciation deduction that I got, the tax that benefit I got was more than the payment that I made. Because my monthly installment was, EMI was some 8,357, 8,357, some small amount I used to pay every month. 8,500 round figure. Annually, it was a little over 1 lakh. Little over 1 lakh. But tax benefit that I used to take was more than 1 lakh 25,000. Depreciation ka deduction was direct 15% of 8 lakh. A lot of people purposely buy assets on loan because one, you don't have to invest your full cash. Loan ka rate of interest will be low. You can invest your cash somewhere else and get return more than the loan ka rate. So supposingly I invest my money at 10%. So I'm getting return of 10%. And loan I have to repay only 9% interest. So I am already recovering my interest payable from somewhere. Plus all the interest that I pay, I take that as deduction. The car that I am using, that depreciation I take, plus repair, insurance, everything, the tax benefit that I used to bring for myself was more than the amounts that I was paying during the year in the form of EMIs. You see a lot of organizations who have money also use bank finance for acquiring assets, because whether I make full payment or part payment, depreciation I will get on full cost only. Purchase will include higher purchase also. Whether I make full payment or part payment, depreciation will be on the full value. So pay 2 lakh but take depreciation on 8 lakh. You understood? If you ever see your known contacts taking loans for car loan is not taken because people don't have money. If you don't have money, don't buy car. Loans you should take for creating assets. I purchased a house to home loan. I purchased office to home loan. I am getting rent. I am recovering the EMIs. Car loan is the stupidest thing that you will do, because car is not an asset. Somebody needs to rectify accounts. Somebody needs to rectify accounting standards. What is an asset? Something that you invest in and future it will bring profits to you. Car will never bring profits. You have to always incur expenses. This is a big question to all the people who make the accounting standards. The whole accounting bodies, all the accounting bodies in the world. Car is asset or liability. You are making us write a motor car under asset. Why, sir? Because 1 year I pay, so many years I can use. Arey bro, but every day I have to incur expenses. It's a big question. From my side, it's a big question. Shouldn't car be classified as liability? Because it is not bringing any value. I have to keep incurring expense on it. A big, बहुत बड़ा question, huge question. But let's not get into that discussion that the accounting lobby will decide. They will decide if they have to modify standards. Point right now is you make full payment or part payment, you get depreciation of the full value. So have they given you a nice idea of taking tax benefit? And then as far as used for business or profession is concerned, use will include passive use. Passive use means kept ready for use. See, when we say that asset ka depreciation will be given only if it is used, that means we are not allowed to lock our office at night because we are not using it. So we will lose depreciation. We can't be so foolish. Just imagine, is the classroom cool enough? You want me to make it cooler by reducing the AC temperature? Just asking. Pleasant hai classroom? So that is why you have switched off the fan, because the AC in the class is giving you proper cooling. So fan is off. Fan is off, no. So not being used, no depreciation. Arre? The moment I want, I can just switch it on and start using, no. So if you go by the literal meaning of use, so you will lose depreciation the moment you turn off your electronic equipment. The moment you lock your office, no depreciation. It can't be like that. I can start it whenever I want. That is called passive use. This AC is on. Both ACs are on. Are we using the AC actively? Owned and used. AC will get depreciation. The fan is off. Still we will get depreciation. It is not used, but it is kept ready for use. Two conditions to get depreciation deduction. If you fulfill these two conditions, then and only then you will get your depreciation deduction. The two conditions are own and use. Own and use. Owned will include hire purchase and use will include passive. Passive means kept ready for use. If you fulfill these two conditions, you will get the deduction of depreciation. If you don't fulfill the condition, you won't get depreciation. Whatever be the definition of depreciation in accounts, do you want deduction? Question is, do you want deduction? Fulfill two conditions. What two conditions? Own and 100 times I ask you, 100 times you will have to answer. Own and use. If you fulfill the above two conditions, if you what bro? Fulfill the above two conditions, so you will get depreciation on your tangible assets as well as your intangible asset. See, we are not interested whether the asset is tangible or intangible. You will get depreciation on both, provided own and use, own and use, own and use. Sir, what is tangible and intangible? Please don't answer this by saying, sir, tangible is something that we can see and touch. Intangible is something that we can feel. Any better answer you have? हम भारी इंग्लिश without physical substance. तो मतलब what does that mean? वही lol. Okay. हाँ. But see, I'm not asking you the effect of that. Meaning I am asking. Tangible asset, yes, said rightly, they have physical presence. For example, your office building. It is a physically built, constructed structure. Your furniture, your plant and machinery, are they tangible? Yes, you will get depreciation. But knowledge-based assets, intellectual property right, like your patent, your trademark, your brand, your design, your drawing, they are intangible. Hello. You will get depreciation on tangible as well as intangible. Means if I buy a trademark, if I buy a patent, that is my intangible asset. If I buy a brand, these days what is happening, I don't know whether you are in touch with the news. Every morning you will get to see one brand being sold to another. Mergers and acquisitions, we call it in the corporate world. You all have heard of the concept called mergers and acquisitions? One organization will acquire the ownership in the other organization. For example, Mukesh Bhai owns NetMeds, he owns PVR. Bro, Adani owns stake in NDTV. Since that day, suddenly NDTV has become pro-Modi. Otherwise, NDTV was always anti-Modi. But the moment Adani acquired ownership in NDTV has started suddenly liking the Prime Minister. Means the prime minister is good or bad depends on which news channel you are watching. India TV or NDTV. You are not aware of that. Everything is paid. I have multiple times told you. So, ladies and gentlemen, you acquire any brand, is that owned by you and used for business? Or you acquire any building, furniture, plant and machinery. Ultimately, the asset can be tangible or intangible, tangible or intangible. You will get depreciation if owned, used, owned, used, owned, used. If you fulfill two conditions, so you will get the deduction of depreciation. Fulfill two conditions and take deduction of depreciation on tangible asset as well as intangible asset. However, there will be no depreciation on land. No depreciation on land. This explanation, this logic, I'll finish it once and for good. If you do this depreciation on land, by the way, it's a crime. I don't know whether your generation has access to the memes or no. I saw this one meme on social media, two photos. A boy is driving a car, a girl is sitting next to him. That's the first photo. They are like cartoon images, not real boy or girl. So heading is I love her. In the next photo, the girl is lying down here. The boy ka leg is like big. He has kicked her out of the car. She depreciated land. I love her a lot, but she depreciated land. So I kicked her out. You've not seen these memes? Boy and girl sitting in a car. First line will always be I love her. But then she did something that is unacceptable. So I kicked her out. So this meme was about depreciation on land. One of my students modified this meme. I love her. She told me to bunk Surana sir's lecture. So what did I do? Kicked her out. Then he sent it to me. Then I replied, bro, you should have told her that let's go and together attend, and I would have probably done something that it materializes. I would have supported. If required, would have gone and spoken to the parents. But the point is, at your age and level, you don't have any face to approach anybody's parents, including yours. Make yourself fit and capable that you can approach anybody's parents. I have made myself fit and capable that I can approach the parents of my neighbor's children. Make yourself fit for that first. Okay? So come and attend together. I'll be happy if your thing materializes because my thing did not back in my time. What do I tell you? है ना? So bro, never depreciate land. It's a crime unpardonable. Unpardonable. You may be probably released for murder ka case. But this case nahi. Sir, why? Why? Why we never depreciate? Because in accounts also you don't depreciate land. I'll ring the bell again. Why? Why no depreciation on land? Land is an appreciable asset. Ah, bas. So that's the maximum that we know. Alternatively, some students say, sir, statement must have. Land is not an expense, sir, it is an investment. Land will always appreciate. Why? Logic. Why? That's appreciate. Land will appreciate. Why? Because the value will increase. Value increase is only called appreciate. Same as saying fall fruit. Land cannot be created. Law of demand, law of supply. Alfred Marshall. Alfred Marshall? Yes. Law of demand, law of supply. है ना? When the supply is fixed and the demand is continuously increasing, then the price of that asset will always increase. The total supply of land is fixed. Land cannot be created. Who are you, Vanar Sena? Are Vanar Sena from India? Rama, you don't know about that? अरे वो that's a very famous song on that. धन्य है वो वानर सेना जिसने सेतु को बना दिया. No idea. Crazy? You don't know which song I am talking about? लिख कर राम नाम पत्थर पर पानी में था फहरा दिया. Still don't know? Now the next line will remind you. राम नाम का पी के प्याला राम की धुन पे डोलेगा. हाँ, now if you know the line then join me. मेरे भारत का बच्चा बच्चा. You don't know the inner part of this song. You don't know the story of Vanar Sena? They created the land. You who you? You can't create land. क्या कर रहा है? He tried creating land. नहीं, share this with me. You have to share it. क्या? अरे बोलना. Supplier. Drugs? He is high on drugs all day long. So what's new in that? But what did he say in that state? Hey, time pass. We can't create land. And when we can't create land, means supply is limited. With the ever-growing population. Bro, population pe there is no control. Sometimes so we feel that there should be 3-4 deadly COVID ka waves that at least world population comes under control. Huh? Bro, no place to walk, no place to drive, no parking. There has to be some way in which, God should create a system that those who are not required. We'll call them back. Recall. Companies do know they recall their car models, that there is some defect in this creation. Buyback. God should introduce that offer of buyback. Best hai. And recall 50% of the world. The world will be peaceful. No, war will still take place. War will, because people like you will be there. You will go in that 50%. You will definitely go. No, actually, God won't call you back, because for other people, some entertainment is also required. No? How will other people have time pass? Only when? What are the two options for expenses in accounts? Income or expense? Manoranjan. With the ever-growing population, the demand for land will increase. There is no possibility of population reduction, because birth rate is higher than death rate. Demand increases, supply is fixed. The value will always increase, and therefore we can come to the conclusion: land is never an expense, it is always an investment. This same line you learnt in accounts in the name of ever appreciating asset. For this reason, we never charge depreciation in accounts. We don't charge depreciation in tax. I buy land for 1 lakh, with time value will increase. One day when I will sell the land, in capital gain I will minus the cost. But in PGBP there will never be any depreciation on land. So two conditions to get depreciation deduction, that is owned and used. If I fulfill these two conditions, I will get depreciation on tangible asset as well as intangible asset. However, there will be no depreciation on land. Next. Logic is clear? Remember, throughout this chapter, this will come again and again, but I have given the explanation now. Next. There will be no depreciation on cards imported during the period 1975 to 2001. This is as extinct as the dinosaur. But because it is there in the law, it is there in the textbook, it has to be coming for 1 minute ka discussion in the classroom. After today, you will never touch this again. This is something that changed in 2001. Anyone here who was there at that time? 2001. So you finished your graduation long ago. Then direct entry, direct enter. That also graduation must have been over 2-3 years ago. Huh? So what suddenly motivated you to? Acha. Otherwise you were sure of doing CA, but it was a conscious decision to do it late. And you, she came, so I also came. हाँ ठीक है, reason everyone has his or her own reason. So you all were there, but to what extent you all were there is also a question mark. 2001 no bro, substantially there. Just made it no, calculate कर रही थी. Just made it no. 2001 I was there. I was what? No, I was not there. 2001 was 24 years ago. No, I just turned 18 last month. Actually, I turned 18 into 2 last month. Oh, this you don't have to show everyone. No. Before 2001, Indian law was a little restrictive that don't bring imported cars because too much of foreign currency payment. So we won't give you depreciation. In 2001, government said, bro, do what you want to. Your money. Pay custom duty, bring the car. So from today, we will give you depreciation. But the point is that if you've already imported in this period, it was a prospective amendment. So the existing cars will be ineligible. So even today, if you have a car acquired in 1995, imported car, no depreciation. But the question today is that what is the probability of a car acquired before 2001 and still in use? Unless you belong to the Parsi community. Parsis, Maro Dikro. They treat their car like their own children. Bro, that is nothing compared to real life Parsis. They treat their vehicles as their children. If you are ever buying a second-hand vehicle, preferably buy from a doctor or a Parsi. Because they do not have too much of rough use. And I'll tell you what, a Parsi does not sell his second-hand vehicle to a non-Parsi. Because they want someone who will take care even after they sell. Believe me, that's true. Believe me, that's true. So, ladies and gentlemen, after 2001, government changed the law. But then what is the probability of those cars still being used by people? Maybe in some vintage car rally or anything like that, any car show or something like that. Otherwise, probability of using it for business on a day-to-day basis is too less. But in case it is existing cars, no depreciation, only imported after 2001, you will get depreciation. For all theoretical and practical purposes, you ignore this like Modi ignores Kejriwal. You understand the depth of this thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, what you have to learn properly. Two conditions to get depreciation reduction. That is own and use. Own and use. If I fulfill two conditions, then I will get depreciation on all tangible as well as intangible assets. But no depreciation on land. No depreciation on cars that are imported in this period. And no depreciation on goodwill. See, normally goodwill, you don't incur cost. It is years and years of hard work that is going to create your goodwill. So that way there is zero cost, zero depreciation. But sometimes we purchase another party's goodwill. Do we? We have valuation of goodwill somewhere in our syllabus. So if I have purchased some goodwill, do I have some cost that I have? There were people who were charging depreciation on goodwill by calling it an intangible asset. But the officers did not accept goodwill to be an intangible asset. And they denied that depreciation. Matter went up to Supreme Court. And Supreme Court said goodwill will be considered as an intangible asset and therefore depreciation deduction will be given. So Supreme Court has taken favor of taxpayer. Yes. Whenever Supreme Court takes favor of taxpayer, government changes the law. And in 2021, Auntie in her budget changed the law by saying, whatever Supreme Court has said, thank you very much, no depreciation on Goodwill. Even if it is purchased. See, owned goodwill, zero cost. But purchased goodwill also, no depreciation. So 3 assets you will not get depreciation. Land, goodwill, and imported cars you can ignore. So for practical purposes, you remember only 2 things. Land, goodwill, no depreciation. Other than that, you will get depreciation on all tangible, intangible, if own and use, own and use, own and use. Fantastic. If the payment that you are making to acquire the asset, you have to make payment, is more than rupees 10,000. If you are making payment of more than 10,000 to the same person on the same day, same person, same day, same person, same day. That means, can I say you are making more than 10,000 ka payment in one transaction? One person, one day. So you have to make the payment only and only through the 3 allowable modes of income tax law, the 3 recognized modes of payment. There is something called account pay check. Normally, if there is a check leaf and I just sign, it becomes a bearer check. Anybody can write his name and take money. So we will never know who took that money. If I put 2 lines, it will become a cross check. Still, we can endorse in favor of anybody. But if I put 2 lines and add the word, then this check can be deposited only by this person. So if any transaction takes place through account pay check, can we actually find out whether it is a real transaction or a fake transaction? By checking the passbooks of both parties. You can't bribe the bank manager and tell the bank manager that I will pay you 100 rupees, pass one fake entry in my passbook. No. Government wants to curb cash transactions in the economy. And to curb cash in the economy, high value financial transactions cannot, should not, will not be done in cash. You can make payment through account pay check, no problem. You can make payment through something called account pay draft. Looks same as check. Everything is same except that check can bounce if there is no balance. Check returned due to insufficient funds. Draft cannot bounce because draft is a prepaid instrument. If I have to give someone money using a draft, I will supposedly 2 lakh ka payment. I will give the bank 2 lakh rupees plus the draft creation charges, 200, 400, 500, whatever charges. And then the bank will issue a draft. This cannot bounce. This will not bounce. It has to be a prepaid instrument. But looks same. So can I say we have to deposit? So we can make payment using account pay check. It will bring traceability of transaction. Account pay draft also will bring traceability. Or we can make payment through electronic clearing system through a bank account, or it can be any other prescribed mode. Electronic clearing system can involve payments like RTGS, NEFT, IMPS, online payment, which can be through bank. RTGS, NEFT are bank. Now, India's digital payment system is most advanced in the world. We can actually make banking payments to people without bank details. We can transfer money in people ka bank account without taking their bank details. Through mobile number. Through UPI ID, through QR code. And you are crazy and foolish if you actually went and told the shopkeeper, uncle, scanner. It is not scanner, it is QR code. Scanner is your mobile because your mobile is scanning that QR code. You are the scanner. Uncle is not scanner. Just like in a restaurant, after you order, you are waiting for food. So you are the waiter. Too deep, no bro. We'll keep some spiritual sessions on understanding these terminologies. Evening 9 to 10 p.m. ka slot. And before that, we will ensure that Pratik comes with his stuff at 8:30, so that only when we have distributed and consumed our share, we will get more. Abhinya, not in the class. You can make payment only in these 3 modes. If the payment for acquiring an asset is more than rupees 10,000, then the payment can be made only through these 3 modes. The target was to curb cash transactions in the economy if you make payment through any other mode, that is cash, you will lose a depreciation on that amount forever, despite being a business expense. So supposingly, it actually happened with me. This amendment came in 2017 ka budget, and in 2017-18, I had to actually purchase a printer. A printer ka cost was some 13,500 rupees, which is more than 10,000. You go in the wholesale market in Mumbai, there is a place called Leamington Road. So normally online the price was 16,000, 16,500. One of my friends had given me his contact ka shopkeeper ka number. But being the Marwadi blood that I am, I didn't go to that shopkeeper directly. I first went to random shops in that market. I asked the price. Someone told me 15,000, 15,500, 15,400, 16, 16.2. I understood the range by going to multiple shops. Then I went to that known shopkeeper. Now I know the idea. So I have the idea of the rates. He can't fool me. He said, your friend has called. And of course, he also said that I'm sure you must have gone to other shops before coming. 13,500 last year. And you realize that of course, compared to market rate, it is still lower. So I took, now if I pay in cash, I will not get depreciation. Because more than 10,000. Forever, despite being a business cost. So I gave him my credit card. Because this is 2017. There was no UPI, QR code, etc. I gave him credit card. Yes, sir, I'll pay through credit card. Now, credit card ka problem is that when anybody accepts payment through credit card, the receiver has 2% bank charges. So, for example, people make purchases from my website. See, you purchase, you have various modes. When you will do add to cart, come to the payment page, there will be options, credit card, debit card, net banking, UPI. 99% students make payments using UPI, fastest mode, easiest mode. But there are few students who are working professionals who make payment using credit cards. For you, it won't make any difference. You have to pay the bill amount. But if the payment to me comes in credit card, then I have bank charges ranging from 1.5% to 2% to 3% based on which credit card you are using. MasterCard or Visa or American Express is the most expensive. And to this, don't react by saying, sir, next time I will buy anything from your website using credit card only, even if I have UPI. Okay, buy. Purchase, no problem. Let the charges be levied. Buy now. Buy now. Nahin? Bro, just to let you know, if Amazon is giving you something worth 10,000 at 40% discount, those big billion day sales, etc. 10,000 to 40% discount means they are giving it to you at 6,000. You have not saved 4,000, you have spent 6,000. And Flipkart and Amazon always come with their sales together. For best savings, uninstall both apps. The best way to save money. Hai na? Too deep. I told you, too much to learn from me other than tax. I get paid for tax. That is also very less. So for separate batch, you will have to take separate admission. Secret way of doing under the table. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't want cash in the economy. So when I told that shopkeeper I will pay using credit card, he said that with this I will have 270 rupees bank charges that you will have to pay. See, everywhere you don't have to flaunt your knowledge. Yeah, no. As per RBI guidelines, you can't levy the charge on me. You have to pay that. You don't show your knowledge everywhere. Because if you show your RBI knowledge, shopkeeper said, bro, you went in the full market, no? I know everything. You pay 15,500 rupees, I will pay the bank charges. So he gave me two options. Pay 2,000 rupees or pay 270 rupees. 13,500 ka 2%. I'm not asking you because you can say anything. Normal people, if your options are pay 2,000 or 270 rupees for the same thing. So what will you pay? 270 of course. No, 2,000. What will you pay? 270, no? I had to pay 270 only because if I pay 13,500 in cash, I will lose depreciation forever. Sir, yes, you could have said, sir, account pay check. Arey bro, account pay check I will give. So he won't give me the printer. No? Well, sir, take this check and give me the printer. And bro, then cancel the check. Stop payment. Bro, printer is in my house. Lol. Account pay check if I give, so you have to wait for the check to get credited, then you'll get delivery. So second time I will have to go, no? So instant payment ka option was cash or credit card. Finally, poor guy had to pay 270 rupees extra because of this stupidity. But then Jetli ji at that time said that I don't want cash transactions more than 10,000. So if you buy furniture, plant and machinery, building, whatever, owned and used, owned and used, owned and used. But if you have paid more than 10,000 in cash, then that portion you will not get depreciation. Let's be clear. Supposingly you have purchased furniture of 50,000. 30,000 you pay in check. 20 you paid in cash as advance. So you get depreciation on 30. You lose only on that amount. So depreciation will be not given if you violate this condition only on that much value. Supposingly instead of 30 plus 20, 30 was check, 20 was cash. So 30 you get depreciation, 20 you won't. It is 40 and 10. For advance 10,000 in cash and then 40,000 in account pay check. So I will get depreciation on 50. Greater than 10, then violation. Check on your calculator. 10,000 is not greater than 10,000. Check. It is equal to 10,000 exact is allowed. 10,001 rupee not allowed. So 40 check, 10 cash allowed nahi, full 50 eligible for depreciation. But 30, 20, then 20 won't. Cash payment to the same person same day should not be more than 10,000. Otherwise, you will lose the deduction of depreciation on that amount. This is how Jetli ji imposed a curb on cash transactions in the economy. Even if it is owned and used, you won't get depreciation. You won't get depreciation. Next. So you all claim before me that you all know the concept of amalgamation. You all know amalgamation? Two becoming one? You are not the owner. Leased assets, you can't be the owner. Leased asset mein you can be the owner in that lease where at the end the ownership is transferred. Leases are of two types, operating lease and finance lease. Ownership transfers in which lease? Because that is hire purchase. Finance lease is nothing but hire purchase. You have made one big payment and at the end you are going to get ownership. Then you will fall in this case. But if it is operating lease, that means all you are paying is rent. That means the previous two sections will become applicable. Rent ka section. Understood? Understood, no? If an amalgamation has taken place, means at the beginning of the year, there was a company called A Limited, there was a company called B Limited. They had their own assets, owned and used, owned and used, owned and used. They were taking depreciation on their own assets. But during the year, amalgamation took place. A and B merged to form a company called AB Limited. So end of the year, which is the company? AB Limited. So the question is, who will get depreciation? Old company or new company? Is simple English. Accounting language, we call it amalgamating company or amalgamated company. Or legal language, we call them the predecessor and the successor. Old or new? Let's keep it simple. See, let me explain the question. This is the year. Somewhere in the middle of the year, amalgamation took place. That means during this period of the year, we had the individual companies A Limited, B Limited. From this date onwards, we have the new company. So the question is, who will get the deduction of depreciation for this year? Also understand, last year, who got depreciation deduction? Old company. Next year, who will get depreciation deduction? New company. Legal languages, predecessor, successor. I am keeping it easy for you. This year, who will get depreciation deduction? Is the question. The question is, this year, who will get depreciation deduction is the question. Ownership is transferred on this date. From this date onwards, new company is the owner by the new company. Fantastic. Not a problem. I understand and appreciate that you've used your logic. But let me tell you one more thing. That from this date, that is beginning of the year, till this date, the date of amalgamation, The old companies will have to calculate their NTTI of this much period and pay tax on the income of this much period before liquidating official. You have to pay your taxation dues. Still, your answer is new company. Half, it need not be half. It can be year also and it can be year also. So don't say half. You have any better word? What do you mean by that period? You will have to apportion in the ratio of number of days the asset was used by the old company and the new company. Means from the first day of the year till one day before amalgamation, a number of days divided by 365 will be depreciation for the old company. And from the date of amalgamation till the end of the year, the total days divided by 365 will be depreciation of the new company. Understood? If amalgamation has taken place, period wise and ratio of number of days. Is that clear, everyone? So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have commenced a section called depreciation. 2 condition 32, the most important section of your entire syllabus. When I say that PGBP ka question comes in inter for 15 marks and final for 14 marks, in both those questions there will be 2 mark adjustment from this section. So if PGBP is 30 marks in your entire taxation journey, in that 4 marks will be depreciation. Guarantee fix in every paper. You need to be perfect. Plus, in terms of importance, so it is important. Size also, in your entire career of chartered accountancy, there won't be any section taught to you in any law which splits over multiple lectures. This is the biggest section of the chapter, section 32, depreciations. Two conditions to get the deduction of depreciation, that is owned and used. Once I fulfill these 2 conditions, I will get depreciation on tangible or intangible, both, but no depreciation on land, no depreciation on goodwill, and no depreciation on cards you can ignore also. If it is more than 10,000, then 3 allowable modes, otherwise no depreciation. And if amalgamation has taken place, then ratio of number of days. Everyone is clear? Now, we have to do 3 more points. 8, 9 and 10. If I finish points 8, 9 and 10, 10th is the last point in introduction of depreciation. Last point of depreciation. Last point of introduction of depreciation. But you know my habit that I first tell you what we are going to do. Like now you know that in this chapter I will be teaching you allowed and disallowed expenses. So in point 8, 9 and 10, we will be learning that what do we have to learn in depreciation ka section? Why is it so big? And they are all related with each other. Tomorrow's lecture, just to let you know, 4 hours are over. I, of course, know that when it comes to my lecture, and you all are not the only people who, with your ego, you may refuse to accept that also, but you all are not the only people. Every student I have interacted with over the years has always told me, sir, in your lecture where time goes, we don't realize. We just feel that we started, and at the end of the batch, we do have a session. Abhi na jao chhodkar. But for today, tomorrow's lecture will start with point 8. Hey, packing karna. Tomorrow's lecture will start with point 8. And when I ask you, you will have to be ready with the answer. Sir, point 8 of what? Depreciation nahi. Introduction of depreciation. We are in the most important chapters, most important section. Any insincerity shown here can be dangerous for life. Lecture ka timing tomorrow is? For me 12 o'clock. For you it is 11:30. I will start at 12 only as per schedule. You tell yourself mentally that I have to commence my lecture at this time. Accordingly plan your day so that you do not have even a single minute of delay or unproductive time. If you want, come a little early, start practicing your additional question bank here also. We have no problem. You know our classroom infra is basically that we allow everyone who wants to do self-study, etc. But you please make sure that one, revise till here this chapter. Second, I am not going to ask you now. Maybe at the end of PGBP, I'll ask you, have you finished questions till salary? Choice is yours. If you do, it is good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys in the next lecture, that is tomorrow.